Let's go.
Hello and welcome into the CISM Football Pregame Show. I'm John Schaefer, in for Blake Walker tonight. Certainly looking forward to some great matchups in the final week of the regular season for Class 5A. We'll have Sioux City North at Centennial, Waterloo West at Waukee, a game that we're going to be talking a lot about tonight, plus hearing from their coaches. And then you also have Des Moines Lincoln taking on Valley. Dar Danielson will be on the call for that game. So, we're taking a look at the top 20 in the RPI as we get ready for that playoff finality as we find out later tonight who will be in and who will not be in to the postseason. It is certainly make or break time for a lot of teams. So a look at the top 20 for the Class 5A RPI. Dowling Catholic sits 7-1 comfortably into the playoffs along with Waukee Northwest. Of course, Northwest number 2 takes on number 13 Norwalk this week. This is really more of a chance for the Warriors to solidify a playoff berth if they can top the Wolves. Northwest should be hosting come first round and quarterfinal play. Number 3, Sioux City East, 7-1 on the year. Iowa City Liberty in at number 4. Johnston, Ankeny, and Valley all 6-2 on the year, all 5, 6, 7. And then Cedar Falls also in there at 6-2 as well for number 8. Number 9, Dallas Center Grimes, 6-2 as well, but they have to go out east to take on a 3-5 Cedar Rapids Kennedy team. That could be a tough out tonight for the Mustangs. A little bit of a do-or-die scenario for them. They might have enough buffer to keep them in that top 16, even with a loss tonight. Iowa City West at number 10, 6-2, plays host to 4-4 Linmar, and this is where you get into the must-win territory. If you're Iowa City West, you don't have to leave it or want to leave it up to that RPI to save you. Linmar sits 19th, so a win for them, and they might find a back way into the top 16. Cedar Rapids Prairie in at number 11 and 6-2. They have a favorable matchup tonight as well. Number 12, Waterloo West, 5-3. They're at Waukee tonight. And this is the game to circle because it maybe matters the most for the RPI. It's winning in for Waterloo West. It's that simple. Waukee's 3-5, but 17th in the RPI, coming off of that huge upset against Waukee Northwest. So if the Warriors can get the win tonight, I think it would be good enough to move the Warriors up into the top 16, drop Waterloo West out of the top 16, and so that would really be dependent, though, on how Norwalk, Indianola, Southeast Polk, and Centennial do as well, and this is why that RPI is great, but also a bit of a challenge to predict kind of the outcome here. So keep in mind, Norwalk is number 13. We mentioned them. They take on Waukee Northwest. Indianola at 5-3 is 14. Southeast Polk 4-4 on the year, in there at 15. They need one more win just to solidify that, along with Ankeny Centennial taking on that Sioux City North squad as well this evening. Then 17, we mentioned them. Waukee, the Warriors, 3-5. Dubuque Senior at 5-3. Might have some qualms with how the RPI has them positioned. Linmar at 4-4 controls their own destiny as well. And then Pleasant Valley there at number 20. So, an exciting night, as I mentioned ahead. A lot on the line, and when we come back from the break, we'll preview this matchup between Waterloo West and the Waukee Warriors just a little bit more as we hear from both head coaches after the break. Once again, on CISN.
Joe here with Westside Auto Pros. I know that sometimes your car can be inconsiderate and need work when you're short on cash. So here's what I'll do. When you get your car fixed at Westside Auto Pros, I'll loan you the money to pay for it. Whatever you want done, repairs, services, tires, you name it. Get your car back on the road and you won't even pay any interest for 90 days. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
No interest, Joe? Are you nuts?
Get your car fixed now and pay later only at Westside Auto Pros. You don't suppose she's right?
Employee pricing plus extra DeArmond discounts at DeArmond Ford. New 2024 F-150s with over $20,000 off. Get a new Ford Bronco with $9,000 off plus 3.9% for 72 months. New Bronco Sports on sale for $37,990 plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Super Duties with $10,000 off. Extra discounts on top of employee pricing. Only at DeArmond Ford, Indianola.
Welcome back into CISN's football pregame show. John Schaefer with you once again. And now time to catch up with both coaches from one of the biggest matchups in all of high school football this evening. Waterloo West taking on the Waukee Warriors. We'll hear from Gabe Baker and Lonnie Moore, both head coaches for their respective squads. Keep in mind, Waterloo West riding a 3-game winning streak into this contest, including a massive upset of Dallas Center Grimes just a few weeks ago. For Waukee, well, they put themselves in a prime spot to win and get into the postseason after an upset of then number 1 Waukee Northwest, riding that high of a huge rivalry win. We caught up with both coaches. Take a look.
Joining me now is Waterloo West coach Lonnie Moore, and thanks for joining us here, Coach, on the pregame show. And first of all, looks like you guys 3 straight wins, kind of getting in a little groove here toward the end of the season.
Yeah, we're playing our best football right now. We got some guys healthy also that came back and kind of helped us on both sides of the ball. So that also helps out a little bit when our team is not as deep. So we need some of those key players to make sure they're there to help us out. And we're playing some good football right now.
What do you like about this team and the way they develop?
I just like the non-quit attitude, especially our seniors, the way they lead. We actually lost 3 games early in the season in a row. Any team at that time could have, bailed or, gave up. They continued to come back and kept working, kept getting better. So I just like their resilience, the way they fought, the way they played hard, and then things have happened for us.
Well, you come into this one you were in the playoffs last year, right?
That's correct.
So looking for your second straight playoff berth, but you play this Waukee team, and they had just a big emotional win over their crosstown rival last week. What do you see out of them? What do you have to do to be successful against them in this game?
Waukee came in, highly rated even before the season started. Looking at their schedule, they had a very, very tough schedule. So that record is very deceiving. They have played some really good teams and played them well. And again, they must have the same type of kids that worked hard and played hard and got a chance to play their rivals, as their rivals were ranked number 1 and came out on top. So, they're probably playing some of their best football too at the same time. So, be a good matchup.
What do you need to do for your own team to be successful here? You run the ball, pass the ball, and more. Tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, if you look at our stats, we're pretty much even on both sides. So we're pretty even passing and running. I just think we need to be efficient, whatever we do. We usually take what the defense give us. We're not run it down your throat if we have to, or make you stop the run or make you stop the pass. We're more of an offense where, we're going to take what you give us and we try to execute that way and have our players make sure they execute the plays. Defensively, we just try to play hard. We want our guys to try to be around the ball. We tell them all the time that you can't make a play unless you're around the ball. So we try to fly the ball and be very aggressive and try to get them less to think about. We don't want them thinking a lot. We just want them reacting and playing hard from there.
And you say you're pretty healthy right at this point in the season?
We're a little healthier than we were at the beginning of the season. We still got some guys with some nicks and bruises and things like that. So like every other team, but we started off the season probably right after the first game. We had some guys that were down, and actually the second game, some guys that were down and didn't play for a game or two, and this guy was out. But those guys are all back right now, and it's looking good for us.
Well, yeah, and that's, like you say, nobody's 100% in the season, but you're right where you want to be here on the verge of getting in the playoffs, and that's exactly what you aim for when you start the season, isn't it?
That's correct. So, we have a motto here with our program. When I started back as the head coach 17 years ago, it's called Play 14. And what Play 14 means is we want to play 14 games. Now, things have changed within the last 5 years where they took a game away. So we count our scrimmage as one of the games now. But only 2 teams in 5A play 14 games. That's the 2 teams in the state championship. So we got to tell our kids, first you got to make the playoffs. And wherever way that goes, you don't have to be undefeated or anything. You just got to get yourself in a position to make the playoffs. Once you get to the playoffs, is everybody 0-0. Now you got to just make sure you're playing your best football. And then you just take one game at a time and try to make it to the Dome and then to the state championship.
All right. Well, we sure appreciate you visiting with us here on the pregame show, and good luck to you on Friday night, Coach.
Well, thank you for having us, and we appreciate everything you guys do for the Iowa football high school. We love it and all the publicity we're getting. So thanks for having us, and go Warhawks.
Joining us now is Waukee head coach Gabe Baker. And Coach, let's first talk about, you had the big win last Friday, and of course, everybody was kind of watching that because you knock off number one. It's the rivalry and everything. How do you come off of that high and get ready now for this game?
We told the kids on Friday to enjoy it. Take the weekend and enjoy it. Talk to all the people in the building, get that congratulations on Monday morning. But then when we came to practice on Monday afternoon, it was on to Waterloo West because it's just as important of a game, if not more important, than the one we just played. Yeah,
now you need to win this to get in, right? If you win, are you sure to get in, or do you need a little help? How does that all work out?
There's people out there a lot smarter than I am that have ransom numbers and things, and it looks like if we win, then we'll be in. But we really can't worry about that or what anybody else is doing. We just have to go out and try to win a game for our seniors on our senior night.
And what do you know about this team, Waterloo West?
They're very talented. They got playmakers on both sides of the ball. They have a really good offensive line. A couple guys on their left-hand side of that offensive line are college-level players. I think one's committed to Iowa, if I'm not mistaken. But they've been solid. Quarterback's very accurate, throwing for almost 1,400 yards, and they're used to winning. They're 5-3. They made the playoffs a year ago, and they've beaten a couple teams that we've played. So I think it's going to be a very competitive game.
And you guys seem to pull everything out in that game, running, passing, a little bit of everything in that. Is that kind of the same thing you see to win this game?
Yes, I think we have to. I think we have to be a physical football team again, being two tight ends and run the ball, but also have an opportunity to throw the ball around a little bit. I think we were very efficient in that. We were 12 of 14 last Friday, and if we could do that again, maybe a few more pass attempts, I think we'd be in really good shape.
You've come through a pretty rough schedule, obviously. I know nobody's perfectly healthy, but everybody, how they doing as you head into this final regular season game?
We're pretty good for it being week 9, and as you said, the grind of the season. We're going to miss a couple players that played Friday night, but that's just nature of the beast, and other guys are going to have to step up.
Well, you want to be playing for a playoff spot. Probably would hope a few more wins there, but you're in a spot to play to extend the season, and that's always what you want every year, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We talk to our kids about. I know it's not exactly what we wanted record-wise, but everything we still sought out at the beginning of the year is still in front of us. All we got to do is be 1-0 this week.
All right. Well, good luck, Coach, on Friday night.
Hey, thank you very much.
So once again, thank you to Coach Baker and Coach Moore for taking time out of their week as they got ready for tonight's big showdown. Again, 7 p.m. kickoff out at Waukee Stadium between Waterloo West and the Waukee Warriors. Should have a fun one there. Also have a few more fun ones to look at. We'll get you the games to watch and really pay attention to here after another quick break on CISN.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
Getting ready to put a bow here on the pregame show here on CISN for the final regular season football contest of the night. Let's get to our games to watch around central Iowa and across the state, really. And it starts again with number 12, Waterloo West at number 17, Waukee. Waukee must win to make the playoffs. Waterloo West clinches with a win. They might need some help if they lose, as we mentioned in those RPI rankings. Number 11, Cedar Rapids Prairie at number 18, Dubuque Senior. Senior has to win to make the playoffs, and that's if they get some help as well. Prairie trying to solidify their spot at 11. Number 23, Urbandale at number 14, Indianola. Indianola, if they win, they are in, but if they lose, they're in trouble, and should be big fans of Waterloo West and Prairie as well. Certainly a big matchup there. Another one that we've hit on, number 2 Northwest at number 13 Norwalk. Northwest wins. They lock up a top 4 seed, and they could knock Norwalk out of the playoffs. Norwalk would also want Waterloo West and Prairie to win to make the playoffs in that situation. And lastly, number 19 Linn-Mar at number 10 Iowa City West. Linn-Mar has won 4 straight, and a win here could lead to an improbable playoff berth after starting 0-4. Who would have ever thought that Linn-Mar could play their way back into it, but a 5th straight win tonight certainly gives them a sniff at the top 16 and playing on Halloween night. So again, a lot of scoreboard watching going to be going on across the state of Iowa tonight. Certainly tune in to your games here on CISN. We'll try and update you with those scores throughout the evening as well, and be tuning into our social media as you want to find scores, updates. We know we've got great partners in Bound as well, so certainly utilize them. We'll be keeping tabs for you. Until then, though, enjoy the kickoff. We'll get out to our host stadiums and enjoy your game. Have a great night here on CISN. Welcome into Ankeny, home of the Centennial Jaguars, hosting the Sioux City North Stars in a must-win situation for the Jags this evening. John Schaefer with Tim Halber tonight, filling in for Paul Yeager. And Tim, it's a beautiful fall night here in late October, and we're just a week away from playoffs.
Yeah, finally week 9, I can start wearing pants, usually in shorts. So it's been a very warm fall, so we have a very crisp football evening tonight.
Well, season finale for the Jaguars and Sioux City North, a must-win for the Jags tonight, sitting 4-4 on the year. They are right on that bubble. Lose, and they're on the outside of that postseason play.
Yeah, they came in with the RPI this week. They're number 16, so they would qualify. They're at 4-4. A win tonight, they're guaranteed a spot. Even who they would play, they could move up a little bit tonight. But a loss would put them at 4-5, and then you're up to a lot of scenarios coming in. So win tonight, you're in.
And we'll break down some of those playoff scenarios here in just a bit. Of course, a 7:30 kickoff for us means we get to do a little bit more scoreboard watching tonight as well. More importantly, though, this game going to be a fun one tonight. Let's talk about those keys for you for both of these squads and those star players to watch.
Yeah, let's start off with the Ankeny Centennial, the Jaguars. You know, it goes through J.J. Morgan. He is that bell cow. He's the number 5 rusher in 5A, number 4 in all-purpose yards. He is the one. He's averaging 10 yards a carry. He's our top leading receiver. That ball is going to go through him. So get that offensive line going tonight. You know, they always have a great offensive line. That's the key for them. The other on the flip side, Sioux City North. They have to get some established. They've been shut out the last 2 games. They want to get that offense. They play teams very close in the first half traditionally. They play a lot of guys 2 ways. If they can get a score, keep this game close, and make Centennial nervous, they could go a long way tonight.
And for Centennial, this is one of those spots where odds are in your favor. So if you can build that big lead, then rest your team to get ready for a tough matchup in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and plus it's senior night. It's the last home game for them. There's a lot of emotions going through, and then we had these long introductions tonight. So I think they're going to play hard, for that kind of game. But keep the eye on the prize is winning the game first, not worrying about who's going to sub in later.
Yep, and absolutely getting some opportunities for those seniors that don't get as much playing time as they traditionally have in the past. So looking forward to that one. Austin Oliver will be down on the sidelines. We'll get to him in just a bit. Let's talk about some of those playoff scenarios now, if we could take a look. A really exciting look at this, because Cedar Rapids Prairie, sitting at 11, takes on Dubuque Senior. Very likely that they'll be winning tonight with a 90 percentile-ish high odds. But the one to watch, Waterloo West, number 12, taking on 17th ranked Waukee out in Waukee. The Warriors with the huge upset last week against Northwest, win and in for Waukee, lose, and you need some help if you're Waterloo West.
Yeah, that's a great matchup because they're both come in here at 5-3. Or Waukee comes in after the big upset. They've had the toughest schedule looking at win percentage of all the teams in 5A, so a win for them would be big. Waterloo West is on there. They're up high, but that win-loss RPI, they could knock them almost completely out of the playoff picture.
The other game to watch, Norwalk taking on Waukee Northwest. Of course, Northwest coming off the loss last week. Norwalk is win and in as well, a must-win. Last check, I think Norwalk was actually up on the Wolves, which would be a tough spot if you're a Warriors fan, because you need something to fall your way at some point here.
Yeah, and Waukee Northwest, they've had a great season. They played a crosstown rival last weekend. They're going to come in. They want to stay in the top 4 in that RPI because that gives them home field for the first 2 rounds prior to going to the Dome. So it's a double important game. It's one win. They're already in. It's just that where they're going to fall when to protect their spot.
And I know we talk a lot about the Central Iowa schools, but worth also noting number 19 Linn-Mar at Iowa City West, a City West team that should be in the postseason. basically locked everything up. If Linn-Mar, though, wins tonight against West, they're going to need a little bit of help to sneak into that top 16, but certainly they'd make a case.
Yeah, they do. This is, the top 8 teams are pretty much locked in. They're going to make it. There's a lot of a movement here in that 9 through 17, 18 now. So a lot of things could happen. And tomorrow morning they're going to announce the RPIs that come out. Then later on they'll announce the playoff pairing. So a lot of movement tonight. A lot of people doing math tonight at home to see if they made it.
Yeah, it's always an exciting night. Cannot believe we're already into Week 9 as we get ready for both teams to take the field here. The Jaguars, as we mentioned, celebrating senior night. We had all the fall sports walk through, including band. We'll also hear from band director Scott Hook in the halftime show. He'll break down their halftime show, their band competition show as well. Looking forward to that. And Tim, really, when you look at this matchup for the Jaguars, it's got to start on the ground. It's got to start with that first kickoff, though, and setting a tone, I'd feel like, as well.
Yeah, you want to start off with good field position. If you're on offense, you want to start, get that offensive line going, get that timing going. I see a heavy run dose, offense coming there. Finding some balance. You don't have to be old J.J. Morgan. I think that's good. What they're looking at doing is kind of set that tone. Keep that defense guessing. Get J.J. Morgan into the second level. They're great when they get that second level. They have some good team speed. They don't need to pass the ball, even though as a sophomore, Miller's done a really good job quarterbacking this team.
Absolutely. And then the other side of things for North, you look at this, and what's really fascinating is I've never seen a starting quarterback lead or be second on the team in tackles on the other side of things, at least not in Class 5A.
Yeah, he's a really good athlete. He leads them in passing. He's also the leading rusher. He's done a really nice job as a quarterback. He's got 8 touchdowns versus 4 interceptions. He leads. We'll see him on defense. Sioux City North they got some really good athletes, but a lot of them will start playing two ways. That's where if they play close, but if they're on the field too long, it starts wearing them down. So I look for seeing, we call these guys the same guy's name, but they're going to be playing both sides of the ball.
Really looking forward to this kickoff. We're going to send it to break here on CISN. We'll be right back from Northview Middle School.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V-Plow and Impact Straight Blade. With the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa High School sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
We're back at Ankeny Stadium. John Schaefer, Tim Halber on the call, along with Austin Oliver on the sidelines. And a beautiful fall night, as I mentioned, a week away from Halloween. Beggars Night has been done away with in the city of Ankeny as well, Tim. A little nostalgia in me is dying inside with that, as I was a big Beggars Night fan, but how do you feel about it?
Well, I'm an old country boy, so our Beggars Night's just much, much smaller than you had that growing up in town. But, yeah, it's nice to have it unified. You kind of know when it's going to be and stuff. So all the treats come in one night now.
Be curious to see how the middle school and elementary school sections are here if Ankeny or Ankeny's hosting next week. with it falling on Friday night as well this year. Should be fun to see the costumes from the high school kids as we get ready for the coin flip. And Centennial deferred to the second half. Sioux City North will receive, working north to south on the field or left to right on your screen tonight. Once again, just getting ready for kickoff. And a beautiful night.
Yes, we welcome those. The stands are full. You know, we've got a lot of family here watching the seniors. We welcome those listening, watching us tonight that are at home, you know, where it's warmer, you know, across the state, even up in Sioux City. So we'll do the best we can with the names and players and numbers.
Saw Coach Pizzetti down there, bundled up nicely as well. Yeah. But once again, just a perfect night to wrap up this Week 9 finale for Centennial and Sioux City North. And it's hard to think that we've already gotten through 9 weeks of football, Tim. It seems like just yesterday we were kicking off Week 1, and you know, you look at the Centennial schedule, and yeah, they're 4-4, and I think there's a couple of games in there that one break goes their way, and they're sitting a little bit prettier and not having to sweat it nearly as much as they did walking into the final week.
Yeah, they had a really talented team last year. They lost a lot of seniors. You know, we see a lot of new seniors coming up, and typical for Centennial football, a lot of guys coming up. They play as sophomores and juniors don't start, and all of a sudden they're starters as seniors, and then you go by really fast. So that's it. A lot of guys have stepped in, played really well. We see some underclassmen here, but that's really their depth of this program is how they build it. So it comes by and it goes very fast.
And looking at this, you mentioned J.J. Morgan. I just want to point out 14 rushing touchdowns this season. As a team, Centennial has 16. So he's accounted for all but 2. And then mix in, he's also the leading receiver for the Centennial team, an outlet for Brecken Miller. Obviously just a sophomore, but a bright future ahead for him.
Yeah, it was a neck and neck, between Brecken Miller and Rowan Doak, coming into preseason. We're quite sure who was going to start the season, but Miller's really settled down. He does a nice job. He's a 6'1", 185-pound sophomore, so he's going to grow. It's nice having some quarterback depth, but he's done a good job taking over, learning this offense. There's a lot of nuances to this offense. I think he's only going to get better as the next couple of years come along.
And again, inching closer to kickoff. 7:30 kickoff. We are just past that. Clock strikes 0 for pregame, and we will get ready to go. And let's see where we're going to be heading here. I see Austin Oliver down there on the sidelines. Let's check in with him really quick for a field conditions report as well. I know it's a nice night, but how's it feel down there on the field for you, Austin?
Well, I kind of wish I was up there with you guys, but wind is going to play. I mean, we're looking at the flags. The flags are pretty dead over there, but on the field there's a little bit of a breeze. I think it could have a little bit of an impact on the game. And we saw a little bit of moisture coming down through the lights here right as we got ready for kickoff. So I don't know if it was really rain or if it was snow, but it seems to have gone away already. So.
Oh, you said that fatal word in snow right there, Austin. Appreciate the check-in.
I know.
We'll check in again with you here in just a bit. Again, Austin Oliver on the sidelines. I'm John Schaefer, Tim Halber. And then we will also hear a bit in the halftime show from Scott Hook, Centennial's band director. We have Jeff Martins on stats as well, keeping us updated. And we'll get things rolling as looks like Ethan Sextro getting ready to kick off, or was that Austin McIntyre already? Throwing some number changes at us. McIntyre delivers, and we are off. That's going to sail into the end zone for the touchback. And he finishes it off. I don't know if we had it on camera there, but McIntyre breaking out the lob wedge at the end of that. Just a little golf swing. I haven't called a ton of much Centennial this season, so that could be his go-to move as North will start from the 20-yard line.
You see Centennial lining up in their traditional 4-3 defense. The 4 down linemen, 3 very active linebackers have been pretty stout this season against the run game.
Jack Mogensen lined up in the shotgun. The back to his right, Ian Laughlin. Take that back. Nope, not Laughlin. Instead, it's going to be a handoff off the left side. Devontae Warfield picks up a few. Nice little 5-yard gain for Warfield. But a flag comes in. This one might be coming back as we await the signal. Sounded like a clipping possibly on the offense.
Yeah, clipping, or I don't know if it was a clipping or a late hit. They had an overshifted line to the right side, to the left side, to get the running game going. Devontae Warfield coming in, the senior running back, picked up a nice gain. He's got 29 carries on the season. So that's one thing that Sioux City North can't get into is, getting into this first and long. You're playing into that Centennial defense.
Warfield, 29 carries, 63 yards on the year, so make that 24 carries now. But that penalty will set Sioux City North back 10 yards. Warfield still in the backfield, Mogensen and shotgun. Takes a snap, he'll look to pass, a little bit behind his receiver, his go-to guy in Caden Edwardson. Edwardson leads this team in receptions with 14. Second on the team in receptions, first in yards, 257, 2 touchdowns. He's also had some carries this season as well. 30 carries, 176 yards, and 1 score on the ground for Caden Edwardson. Pass just a little bit behind from Mogensen. And that will lead to an empty backfield. Sioux City North getting set, 10 seconds left on the play clock. Quick snap, little tunnel screen set up, but that ball behind, scooped up and diving into the end zone. That's going to be a Jaguar touchdown at the other end. Rowan Doak, Johnny on the spot. Mogensen throws it as a lateral. It's a backwards pass.
Yep.
Behind him, incomplete. Doak jumps on it and dives for the end zone. The heads-up play puts the Jags up 6 early.
Yeah, it looks like he tried to get it to a little bubble screen there out to Hagan. But once again, if that ball comes back and going backwards, it is a live ball, like a fumble. And once again, not what Sioux City North wanted to do is have that go to the end zone.
Ethan Sextro steps in, extra point up and through. As it's 7-0 for the Jags. Just 42 seconds into this contest here at Ankeny Stadium. We'll be right back on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
This ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough.
Joe here with Westside Auto Pros. I know that sometimes your car can be inconsiderate and need work when you're short on cash. So here's what I'll do. When you get your car fixed at Westside Auto Pros, I'll loan you the money to pay for it. Whatever you want done, repairs, services, tires, you name it. Get your car back on the road and you won't even pay any interest for 90 days. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
No interest, Joe? Are you nuts?
Get your car fixed now and pay later only at Westside Auto Pros. You don't suppose she's right?
We're back here at Ankeny Stadium. Centennial pouncing on the mistake by the North Stars. And it's Rowan Doak with the touchdown as once again McIntyre boots that well into the end zone. Let's head down to the sideline once again. Austin Oliver, what'd you see on that play?
Well, not much to really talk about on that play, but backwards pass. Nobody else really reacted to it except for Doak. Jumped on it, took it in there. The referees just kind of watched everything happening in front of him, let the play go on, and good start for the Jags tonight.
Doak playing through the whistle, pays off. And Centennial with an early lead. We just had a score update. Valley up on Des Moines Lincoln, 35-0. Now North with their second drive of the night, going to try and get some positive yardage. Again, had a great opening run, set back off of a penalty. And it's Warfield back in the backfield once again with Mogensen. Takes a snap, end around. Nice little sweep here to the go-to wide receiver in Caden Edwardson. Edwardson picks up a few, and I think that's where he's gotten most of his carries this season. Yep. On the end around.
Yeah, Edwardson brings some nice speed. The junior wideout play a variety of positions, also plays defensive corner.
Picked up 7, 2nd and 3. Mogensen drops back, looking to pass under duress. He's lassoed and thrown to the turf. That's a man's play by Brandon Bogseth. Bogseth has led this team with sacks. He's had 2 this year, along with 5.5 tackles for a loss. Make that 3 sacks.
6. That's one thing that Sioux City North didn't need, was that after a nice gain in the first down, they're basically giving it all back on that second down play.
Loss of 9, 3rd and 12. Almost gets the Jags to jump there on the hard count. Instead, North will look to the sidelines to reset. Warfield in the backfield, pistol set. Mogensen, hands off. Warfield bouncing it off the left side, has a lane. Big pickup for the big back, but he's still going to be short by about 4 yards. Pickup of 8 or so for Warfield. Nice carry for him.
Yeah, did a nice job. He really did a nice job coming off the right sideline. Looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down. He's got a 4th and 4. In that short yardage, can they get Centennial to jump off and give him a first down?
North recognizing the scenario here. Trying for the hard count. They'll look to the sideline and see what Coach Moore wants to dial up, or if it's just going to be a little bit of a timeout, late timeout call as the play clock now strikes to 10.
Mogensen has punted this year, so don't be surprised. It could be a quick kick.
Quick snap. They'll hand off Warfield once again off the right side. Look to get away with the face mask in there, and he is going to be short of the first down. Oh, there is a flag there.
Yep.
See what they call. Definitely saw a grab on the mask pulled sideways.
Yeah, it looks like he got caught in the backfield as they reached out with the arm tackle, kind of caught him. Warfield comes in. He's 5'5", so when you reach out for the shoulder pads, he's down there below.
Another look at it right there on the edge. Again, the guy that made the sack earlier in Bogseth. That gives Sioux City North a new set of downs. Once again in that pistol. They'll hand off. Warfield up the gut. Hammers his way forward. He's a big man and likes to drive home those defenders, certainly. 5'5", 180. Yeah. He packs a punch.
Bill like a bowling ball. He's got that low center of gravity, but he's got surprising quickness. He hits the hole really well. Once you're running backs, you're going to get to the hole. Your linemen don't have to hold their blocks as long, so he does a nice job of getting up there and getting what he can against his defense.
Interior line doing a great job for North so far. Mogensen once again in that shotgun. This time drops back. We're going to get a false start. And that will set North back again after positives. And right now they're just shooting themselves in the foot. I've liked some of what I've seen from the Stars.
Yeah, they're mixing up their offensive sets. They've done, pistol, empty backfield, trying to find some rhythm in there. But, yeah, there are a couple, they've had a unsportsmanlike, they've had a motion penalty. They don't have the offense to go out there and deal well with the 2nd and 3rd and longs.
Haven't had a ton of yards passing. Just 811 on the year for Mogensen. He's going to roll out to his left, tuck it, and looking for the edge, gets it. Now looking to throw. He gets wrapped up in the backfield, dropped for the loss. That's Rowan Doak once again.
Yeah, Doak, he was the backup quarterback there, but, he's such a good athlete at 6'5", 195. He's found a spot on the defense. Does a good job, but, very good runner at Mogensen. Keep him contained because he escaped the first tackle, tried to turn the corner. He's going to go to his left a lot because he's a left-handed quarterback. That's his more natural throwing position.
So this will be 3rd and 15 for North. Sioux City North. Mogensen drops back, looking for the tunnel screen. Nothing there once again. This time driving things home is big Houston Luce. 6 foot 240, and he was in there in a hurry.
He too has a number of tackles for loss. He has 5 coming in this game. Now he's got 6.
And that will be a 4th and 23, and this time Sioux City North will have to punt it away. Again, shooting themselves in the foot a bit in this game after some nice positive pickups on the ground with Warfield. If they can stay on schedule, they can hang in there for a bit. Punt is away, low and hard. That'll be plenty of time to field and then do some work with it. Breaking through a couple of tackles before finally being brought down, Devin Goody.
Yeah. Devin did a nice job catching a low kick. A lot of guys like to let that thing bounce. It kind of comes in odd to him. He took it on the fly there, caught it right around midfield. Got some good yardage, giving some great offensive position here for the Jags offense.
Good, a junior running back, certainly showed the speed that he can possess. Give him the ball, and he was off to the races as Centennial's offense will take the field for the first time. Here with 6:14 to play in the first quarter. They'll start on the Sioux City North 26. Rolling out to the right. Brecken dumps it off. Shedding one tackler, making one miss, and then being dragged down finally is Max Schmitz, sophomore running back.
Yeah, mixing it up there. We talked about the running game at the beginning of the game, so the first thing they do is Miller does a rollout pass, so they not listening to us up here in the press box, but nice job. They're very controlled rollout pass, then breaking the first tackle. Otherwise, it would have been a no gain, picking up positive yards and make it a second and short.
Star running back J.J. Morgan lined up out wide to the right. Schmitz in the backfield. Miller under center. Going to give it to Morgan. Morgan, stiff arm, has an edge. He's going to keep going down the sideline and into the end zone. Call it a payday for J.J. Morgan.
That shows the skill of J.J. Morgan. He takes it there. Attacker came out there. He could bounce it back, loop around, and still have enough speed to take it down the sideline to get into the corner of the end zone.
Another look at it here. One quick stiff arm and then some great blocking out on the edge. And Morgan out there with nobody else around, and we've got flags late on the play. I think we're going to get some unsportsmanlike conduct for the celebration from Morgan after he found the land of 6 to make this 13-0.
See what the call is.
So there you go. That'll back him up, I think, 10, maybe 15 on the PAT attempt. Oh, it'll be on the kickoff instead of the PAT. But that's one of those where Coach Pizzetti might just have a quick word with his running back and say, hey, love the energy, love the enthusiasm. Maybe just tone down the celebration just a hair.
Yep. The guys watch it on TV, college and pro, and you get a little excited there senior night.
Morgan, a senior running back, 5'9", as the PAT is through. 14-0. Centennial leading Sioux City North. 5:24 to play in the first quarter here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Employee pricing plus extra DeArmond discounts at DeArmond Ford. New 2024 F-150s with over $20,000 off. Get a new Ford Bronco with $9,000 off plus 3.9% for 72 months. New Bronco Sports on sale for $37,990 plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Super Duties with $10,000 off. Extra discounts on top of employee pricing. Only at DeArmond Ford, Indianola.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
The Sioux River, Olive Garden, Arby's, the other place, Great Cleaners of Iowa.
See if that goes.
We ask all Jaguar fans to please support
there it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Your sport, March 2025.
And we're back here. Let's check in one more time with Austin Oliver. And Austin, did you catch the extra celebration there on the sideline from J.J. Morgan?
Well, I thought for a second he was doing the worm, but I'm not real positive. I know he went down to his chest there, and I know the referee came over and talked to the coaches from Centennial and gave him a rundown of what it was, but I just kind of caught it out of the corner of my eye. But when he got to the outside, it was all over on that run.
Thank you so much for that report. Appreciate it. Again, love the enthusiasm as we get a kickoff. This one coming from the 25, and it'll be returned as it takes a big hop, and then it'll bound into the end zone for another touchback. McIntyre gives us the good old-fashioned Jordan shrug. After that is that hop, skip, and a jump into the end zone.
Yeah, skipped on him there. I think he got Hazen Edwards there, to return. Got lost in the lights a little bit, went a little bit deeper, carried on him more. And that's a kick into the wind. I see the wind. Look at the flags. Look at the winds coming out of the south. Maybe Austin can verify how that's breezing through, if it's coming from north to south or if it's going more of a crosswind on the field. We can feel it a little bit.
Austin, you feeling a crosswind down there at all?
It's just kind of swirling around. So, I mean, I've been watching the flags a little bit, too. It almost looks like two of the flags are going two different directions. So,
well, not going to affect Sioux City North there as Warfield hits the deck. Ball pops out late, but they're going to rule him down. And minimal gain there for the big back for the Stars. 2 plays, 26 yards. That was a 19-yard touchdown run for J.J. Morgan. Just added to the list of efficient carries for him, hunt him.
Yeah, up his average. He's averaging 10 yards a carry, and that was 19 and 1 carry so far tonight.
Fakes the handoff play action. Quick slant over the middle, breaking free and trying to bounce it outside. Big pickup there for the Stars as Andrew Hagan is on the receiving end, and a little bit of yak for the first down.
Yeah, nice job. Comes in with 16 carries, is one of the leading receivers here for, the Stars tonight. So that's right over the middle. That takes a brave receiver to take it across the middle. Got a little skinny post there. He caught it, broke a tackle, got another first down tonight or second one.
Gain of 23 plus a 15-yard penalty. One more look at it. The quick slant over the middle. Poor job wrapping up there by the safety, and then a little bit of late altercation there as well. I think the face mask, and that leads to Sioux City North finding their way into positive territory for the first time tonight. Down 14-0, 4:35 to play. Mogensen in the pistol. Fake to Warfield, going deep down the sideline. Jump ball nearly picked off out there on the far side. They're going to throw a flag late here on Nolan Bennett. I thought Bennett did a good job on the 50-50, but we'll see what the call is.
Yeah, I thought he did a nice job, getting in front of the receiver, but, you don't know what kind of hands or.
Call pass interference on Bennett. That'll be another first down as they march that one off.
But penalties have been a big factor here for Sioux City North, moving the ball downfield, a couple big gashing penalties, and now they're down, they find themselves at the 26-yard line. This is a big drive for them. If they could get in the end zone, get this back to a one-score game, and they're a pesky, team to play.
Mogensen sends a man in motion. We got a little bit of movement on the line, and we're going to have a false start on North. So just after all that positive net on the penalty, the 5-yard penalty will set them back for a 1st and 15. And you kind of said it, Tim. This is a North team that hasn't scored in 2 games. They're hungry for a touchdown, and give them a sniff, and they're going to want to hang around a bit.
Yeah, they got some firepower. They can get in there if they get in sync. And these are a dangerous team. A 107 team is very dangerous.
Bobbled snap. That's going to send Mogensen back, and he's under duress, just trying to get it away. Throws it away. It's picked off as he tries to throw it out of bounds. Instead, going back the other way, Jackson Bailey, and it'll be Centennial ball.
That's a lot to unwind there. It's a bad snap, and Mogensen did a heck of a job getting the ball and then escaping the tackle. But then you compound it with a second mistake, just trying to throw it out of bounds. But what did you do? You want to get it out of bounds.
He's a right-handed quarterback. Tried to throw it away with his left, and instead of throwing it out of bounds, you're right, Tim, throws it back into play. And Bailey will take over the Jags turnover chain. He's loving life, and Centennial with a chance to get right back to work and build on this 14-point lead.
Coach will talk to him about that, just throw it in the first row.
Miller under center. Sends Morgan in motion. They'll fake the handoff. They're going to come back the other way. It's big run up the gut. Love the deception by Good. And that'll be a pickup of 9 on first down.
Probably see a lot of Devin Good tonight. I think he's been a really good, running back, so far this year. He's bringing in, nearly almost 200 yards so far this season. So he's a good secondary back coming in. He's got some good speed and balance.
This is going to be second and a short one as Miller goes back under center. He'll flip his tight end around, send a man in motion again. It's good. This time Miller, though, under stress and just in the backfield in the blink of an eye. What a play by Austin Nelson.
Yeah, he did a great job. Read the quarterback. He didn't go for the fake, and his key was on the quarterback, and that was setting something there, deception, on that second and short. Lost quite a bit there to make it now a 3rd and 8.
Left side of the line just totally missed an assignment there.
Yeah.
He gets through untouched, and he makes Centennial pay.
Austin, Nelson, the defensive end, he'll flip-flop. He'll play on either side of it, has a different key. So it looks like he's on the opposite side of the tight end, so he plays the weak side against that offense.
Now out of shotgun, Brecken Miller drops back, going to go for a quick swing pass out into the open with plenty of space and off to the races once again. You can send him to the house for another is J.J. Morgan. That's a 60-yard pitch and catch.
Perfect pass by Brecken Miller. He threw it out there, threw it in front of him, so he caught it on his hands. He had to make one quick move, and then it's off to the races for J.J. Morgan.
J.J. Morgan has touched the ball 2 times and racked up 79 all-purpose yards so far, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he comes in tonight. He's got, over 1,000 yards of all-purpose yards. Like I said, he's number 4 in 5A in all-purpose yards.
And incredibly efficient. 2 touches, 2 touchdowns. PAT up and good, 21-0. The Jags in complete control against Sioux City North here at Ankeny Stadium. We'll be right back after a quick break on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Run, jump, lift, swim, compete, connect, breathe. Whatever your workout, you'll find it at the Y, plus a whole lot more. Right now, you can try the Y for free. Visit any branch or online at dmymca.org. One membership, endless opportunities. Your YMCA.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
3rd and 8.
3-play drive leads to the land of 6. J.J. Morgan, his second touchdown of the night. 21-0. Jaguars leading the Stars here on the second to last Friday of October as that'll sail into the end zone. Let's go back down to Austin Oliver. And Austin, all the momentum on that Jaguars sideline right now.
Absolutely. I'm guessing I haven't looked at North's schedule. And I'm losing you a little bit there. I think I got you now. But I probably haven't seen a running back like Morgan at all this season. I mean, that speed, just the dynamic movement that he brings out there, it's definitely catching him off guard so far. They're going to have to make some adjustments.
Thank you so much, Austin. We'll see if North can make the adjustments. They had a good offensive drive there until the pick. And then once again, it took just 3 plays for Centennial to sprint down the field. So we'll see what North can dial up here in the final couple minutes of the first quarter. Go to a different look, and we're going to get a little bit of some trickery here as we go direct snap to Warfield. Warfield keeping those legs churning, backing his way through some defenders before finally being taken down about the 28-29. It's a pickup of 9 for the big back once again.
Kind of look like the old USC student body right. They had a lot of blockers out there, and then, he hides behind those blockers. But he doesn't come down on first impact. He does a nice job there. So this is where they want to get that 2nd and 1, very manageable for the offense, get some rhythm going.
Mogensen in that pistol one more time. They'll look to the sideline. Just getting the alignment figured out from Centennial. Another handoff to Warfield. He gets the first down and another couple of yards. We'll give him a new set of downs. Make it 1st and 10 from the 31. Again, the offensive line for Sioux City North interior has done a really good job.
Yeah, they have, especially the left side of their offensive line. Behind, there's Berzani and Slitter. They've done a nice job blocking, sealing down that defensive tackle. Houston Lewis is quite a lot to handle, so they've been able to get some leverage and get a little bit of room for the running back.
Hoganson once again. Hands off. Warfield going to counter back. Cuts the other way. Picks up 5-6. Call it a gain of 6, and it's going to be gain of 7. 2nd and 3. Again, if you're North, you just keep kind of eating that way until they make you stop it.
Yeah, positive yards. They can get 6 yards on a first down play. That's really big. 2nd and 4 is really good. See if it brings in the passing game. Running game is working. If they can keep that going from side to side, get the blockers out there, they don't bring that defense in, it's going to open up their passing game.
A lot of rushers standing up. Quick out pass, a little bit underthrown. That was a forward pass this time from Mogensen, so incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 3. Saw Sioux City North players playing through the whistle on that one compared to what happened on that first drive.
Yeah.
A couple of quick score updates from around the rest of Central Iowa here. Waukee up on Waterloo West 27-7. Again, a must-win spot for the Warriors. Norwalk trailing Waukee Northwest 28-7. They will need some help if they lose tonight to stay in that top 16. Iowa City West taking it to Linn-Mar 28-7. We'll get you some other scores once we have them your way. Warfield takes the handoff one more time. Treads those legs forward. He'll have enough to get to the 41 and a new set of downs one more time as we tick under 30 to go in the first quarter.
He's right on the line. They have not. Yep, they going to move the chain. So.
And Sioux City North might just let this roll out to the end of the first quarter here. I think that's what Coach Moore is going to end up doing. Nope, they're going to try and at least line up quickly, but I don't think we're going to get there with 3, 2, and 1. So we'll end the first quarter 21-0. The Centennial Jags leading the Sioux City North Stars here at Ankeny Stadium. We'll come back with second quarter action right after the break on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
3, 2, action. Wilson Toyota in Ames is unlike any other car dealership in Iowa. At Wilson Toyota, we give you a financially rewarding, time-saving, and stress-free car buying experience. Earning your confidence with a value-oriented customer experience is what thousands of customers have come to understand as the Wilson experience.
She's getting better at this, making me so proud.
Wilson Toyota,
home of the Wilson experience.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
We're back here for quarter number 2. John Schaefer, Tim Halber, and Austin Oliver on the sidelines here on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Sioux City North with 1st and 10 from the 41. Bit of a broken play. Mogensen just kind of dives to the turf to minimize the loss. He'll drop 2 yards there. Some other scores from around Central Iowa. Southeast Polk up 35-0 on Des Moines East. Valley up 42-0 on Lincoln. And I believe at last check, 35-0 Ankeny leading Council Bluffs Abe Lincoln. And then Dowling was up 21-0 over Marshalltown in the second quarter a bit ago. Still trying to find out what we've got going out in Iowa City with Dallas Center Grimes, I believe, being out there. I'm sorry, Cedar Rapids Kennedy, as we get another handoff to Warfield. A little bit of an odd handoff as Mogensen hit the turf. Pickup of 2, going to bring up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Jackson Bailey there on the tackle. It's got a delayed pitch out there from Mogensen. Gained back about a yard, so now they got this 3rd and 10. This is where the Centennial defense licking their chops, like, daring them to put the ball in the air, see what Sioux City dials up.
So Mogensen drops back, big pass, tipped up in the air, nearly intercepted, nearly a circus catch on both sides. Rylan Pizzetti coming up with that second tip off the hands of Andrew Hagan. Hagan's been busy tonight, but that's going to bring out another punt team for Sioux City North as we get one more look at it here.
Yeah, Hagan has hands on. He's a 6'4" receiver. He's a big target out there. Little too high for him. We couldn't quite climb the ladder to get that, but that when you tip it, defensive backs really get big eyes for that interception.
Of course, Ankeny, no stranger to high-quality DBs and safeties over the years.
A few name guys have come out.
As that punt sails high and deep, it's good. He'll bring it in, and he's going to bounce it out to the left side of the field. Has a wall of blockers cutting it back upfield. He's weaving his way through. A flag out late, though. Has a big tackle by Caden Edwardson. And then I think a late hit as well. And that's going to draw another flag. And well, that might offset some things, and we might have to redo it as a whole.
Yeah. Caden Edwardson did a nice job getting an open field tackle there when he got up. He did a little bit of pushing down on the player when he got up, and that official looked at him to get the number, and then the flag flew late. So we got probably holding on Centennial, and then we got a personal foul on Sioux City North, I'm guessing, until we hear the official.
So go ahead and trot him back out there. Yep. See if we get a replay on it.
So what you have is, you have a spot foul on the holding, which would come back, but then the personal foul is at the end of the play. So
see what they decide to do here. A little bit of mathematicians in this zebra
we'll
stripes.
We'll just talk. We don't have to do the math up here unless Jeff figures it out for us.
We'll let them kind of figure it out. Austin, anything to add? What you think how this one could play out for us?
Yeah, I just think there's a little extracurricular activity there after the tackle, but I think they're trying to figure out where that personal foul is going to be put on there. So I'm guessing, what does it look like? That flag out at the 35, maybe 40-yard line over there?
39-yard line there. Nice eyes all the way across field there.
I try.
Weather staying about the same out there too for us.
It started spitting a little bit
again.
Oh boy!
It
definitely is not. It definitely is a little bit of rain, but it just spits for about 30 seconds, then it quits. So you just see it in these brand new Musco lights I think they have here.
Just enough to torture you a little bit, huh?
Exactly.
Thanks, Austin. Well, stay warm down there. Again, beautiful. This is what fall football in Iowa is kind of. You expect it. We've been pretty fortunate with weather. I know you had a bit of a delay last week, if I recall, on this side of town.
A little bit of lightning that was there. Yeah, there's some clouds down there, southern Iowa.
The Edwardson play there. Another look at it. Oh, he was ejected for that. And I don't know how, I understand you want to get control of the game, but at the same time, I didn't see anything egregious there necessarily. Some emotion gets the best of him, but he didn't throw a punch. Can we get one more look at that replay, Randy? Our director, see if we can grab the replay on that return one more time.
Yeah, he kind of got the tackle. There was a hold on there. Then there's a personal foul.
Yep, there's the hold.
There. Then on the end of the tackle, he made a nice tackle, and then he just kind of went and.
It's just a little extra shove. To me, that's emotions getting the best of you. I don't agree with ejecting a player for that. But I'm not a referee for a reason. I won't do much more than that. But as a season finale, that's a tough way to go out, especially for a junior who's just who makes a big play, big tackle there.
He's a big player. He'll play on offense, and he's one of the cornerbacks out there. So that's a loss for their defense.
Their leading rusher as well on those end arounds. Instead, it's Miller. And that was some miscommunication as he was looking out to his right for Cameron Miners. And usually those two are on the same page.
Yeah, Miners, he's a big target. He's a 6'4" target. He's got 13 catches. But in those 13 catches, he's averaging 32 yards a catch and has 5 touchdowns. So looks like he was doing the fly, and then he was looking at him to square out. It's a little miscommunication there. And
he wanted to go off to the races.
Yes.
he wasn't looking for the out route there. So 2nd and 10 from the 34. They'll hand it off right up the gut, bouncing it out to the right with some room. That's going to be a first down run for Max Schmitz. Again, the sophomore running back. Bright future ahead for him. A couple of sophomores on this offense that you've got to be really excited about if you're a Centennial fan.
Yeah, did a nice job. I think you want to bring those guys up and get them some real game experience. That was a good misdirection play. You know, you see this young backfield. We're seeing juniors and sophomores, playing there. This is a great experience for them to pick up a first down. So basically they'd taken that incomplete. They got a first down on the running play.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 47 now. A little bit of a low snap. Miller handles fine, then dumps it off across the middle. Another first down pickup. That's Cade Newman, the tight end, 6'6", 205, showing off that big frame.
Yeah, I'm always happy when I see the tight end. He's got 10 catches on the year, but that's a great one. They had the out. The defense came over, linebacker lost, Newman, but he can get that basketball-sized body in there. He frames it up there and gives a nice target to his quarterback, and that can be there all day long.
I think one thing to say about Brecken Miller, too, is as the season's gone on, you've seen the maturity. You've seen him, make that delivery when it needs to be on time there as he goes out on the shotgun once again. Looking down the sideline, quick out one more time, and there's Newman once again. He's going to fight for a couple of extra yards before being dragged out of bounds.
Yeah, Paul was here to be going. Yeah, I'd be cheering for the tight end. One thing about Brecken Miller, you notice that he gets his feet set, and he's very decisive in his passing. He gets in. He's got a good framework there. He doesn't overstride, but he throws it on target. So if that timing is there, it's going to be tough to defend.
9:06 to play in the first half of football here from Ankeny Stadium. Again tonight, Centennial hosting Sioux City North. Jags in a must-win game if they want to be playing on Halloween night. Miller under center. They'll hand off to Good. Good off the left side, has a wall of blockers, going to cut it back upfield, try and fight his way down to the 5. That's where they'll mark him down. Another first down for the Jags. They've just been tearing it up left and right on the ground.
Yeah, one of the leading blockers out there was J.J. Morgan. Did a great job, getting the block out there. He's in good read by Good, following his blockers, setting him up, and then taking the cut at the right time, picking up extra yards.
Kenyon Leak, the other pulling guard there, and he was well out in front to kind of lead that way for Good as Centennial now at the 5 inside that Midwest Heating and Cooling red zone. Going to the back corner, fade up in the air, one-handed catch, nearly hauled in, just dropped by Cameron Miners.
Yeah, he's going to use that height there to his advantage, but just a little bit, hadn't quite got turned around there to get his body in position to make that catch on that 1st and goal.
Sorry, I think I misspoke. It's Metro Heating and Cooling, the red zone there. Just got to make sure we get big shout out there. Keeping us warm up here in the box is what I'd say.
Yeah.
Poor Austin down there could probably use some heating. As we go 2nd and 5. That's going to be another flag. False start on the offense. And Kenyon Leak flagged for the quick jump.
Yep, you get a little antsy down there on the goal line, and that's one thing that Coach Mazzetti, drive him crazy. You can't make mistakes, in the red zone like this. So 2nd and 10. See if they come back to play that pass play to the end. To Miners is wide open. See if they want to go back to that. Get Miller on the move out because there's that misdirection going to the backfoot. He's really great at the rollout there and throwing a nice, tight, short pass there to his receivers.
That'll back him up to the 10. 2nd and 10. Call it goal to go. They'll fake the pitch out. Miller going to throw a little screen back the other way and jetting and finding his way across the goal line is Schmitz again. Great little sneaky play to Schmitz. And Centennial strikes one more time.
He got out there. He was hemmed in along the sideline, but he's got past the defenders. They were trying to do the arm tackle. That's not going to be enough to bring down Matt Schmitz.
He kind of hides there behind his offensive line before he leaks out and Then he just, as you said there, Tim, sheds a couple tacklers, and Centennial in complete control. About to be up 28-0 if the PAT's good. A little bit of a high snap. Still gets off, and it is through the uprights. 28-0 Centennial well in control of this one here at Ankeny Stadium on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Hey! Touchdown fairway!
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
In the fall.
My wife's nephew in Illinois. I think the Illini are also a 2:30 game.
I think you're probably right. We're just chatting about weddings and fall weddings. Who gets married in the football season in the fall? Well, if I'm being honest, I got married in October back in 2013 there. So I'm one to talk as we get a kickoff and a return out to the 20-yard line. Centennial goes 7 plays, 66 yards, capped off by the 10-yard screen by Max Schmitz. Let's head back down to Austin Oliver. And Austin, any inkling that Centennial's ready to maybe pull the starters in this one?
I think so. I think it's a good opportunity for Centennial to get some different people carrying the ball. It's been heavy J.J. Morgan all year. So we've already seen a couple different people score some touchdowns, and I think that'll be the recipe for pretty much the rest of the game. Get some confidence to some other players here as well.
Thank you, Austin. Sioux City North now down their star player in Caden Edwardson, the junior, ejected for unsportsmanlike conduct. North going to try and go to find some other outlets as Mogensen goes out wide. Nice little tunnel screen on the right side. Gabriel Linham Ochoa. Sorry, that was Nolan White, the wide receiver. Got my 11 and 18 mixed up.
Yeah. No, White comes in, 14 receptions on the season so far, so 5 yards there on their first down.
City North likes this pistol formation. 2 wide, tight end set in tight. They'll hand off. Warfield has a hole, pummels his way ahead for a first down, and just, I've been impressed by the little back here who's just hammered his way ahead for a handful of first downs tonight.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. He's also not putting all the running game on the quarterback. So Mogensen had been happy to hand the ball off there and pick up some positive yards. They've done a good job of moving the ball when they can. They don't shoot themselves in the foot with a penalty or a bad snap, but they've done a nice job of picking up yards on the ground.
Warfield, a senior, his last night in a Sioux City North football jersey. He's trying to go out with some big moments and big memories. Mogensen again in the pistol. They'll hand off this time. Not a lot of places to go, though, there for Nolan White, who lined up in the backfield that time. I'm sorry, that time it was Linham Ochoa.
Yep. Ochoa coming in, spelling Warfield. Kane Brooks on the tackle. They're shutting his blocker.
3 plays, 11 yards so far on this drive for Sioux City North. And they'll go empty backfield. Four wide. Mogensen under pressure one more time. He's going to tuck it and run. Picks up 3 or 4. Here's a decision to be made now.
Good 4-man rush there, getting into the backfield, flushing him pretty quickly. Mogerson runs with that ball out there like a loaf of bread. I wouldn't make a habit of that too much against this defense. They like their takeaways.
3rd and 4 from the 38. Sorry, I was down ahead of myself.
They found some passing in, the seam route, going through in the middle, but, between the two safeties. See if they go back to it.
Stack to the right. They'll hand off to Warfield. Fake the end around, reverse, and instead Warfield just kind of dropped down with a yard pickup. And that's one of those spots where you've had a lot of success running north-south. You try and get Warfield going east-west, and it just doesn't quite amount to the same type of turnover.
Especially when you run into the short side of the field, there isn't much room out there for him to move. Did pick up a couple of yards, but 4-down territory for Sioux City.
They're going to go for it on 4th and 3 from their own 39, 4:45 to play here at Ankeny Stadium in the second quarter here. Low snap, Mogensen in trouble. Was able to get it away. White has some room, but barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Saw a flag. Was it a flag or just a marker coming out?
There's a marker that they came down.
Looks like just a fumble marker, and that's going to be a turnover on downs going back Centennial's way.
Yeah, the snap came back right at the feet of Mogensen. He had nothing else to do. I think the play was to go to White as the end around. Amazing that he ended up with the ball to even make something happen there, but to no avail. Turnover on downs.
6 plays, 18 yards, but no first down to show there, and Centennial will start from the 38 of Sioux City North. See if we've got any changes yet. A few changes there, but not much. As Miller drops back, they're going to fake the handoff. He's looking deep, going down the sideline, has a man wide open, and into the land of 6 goes Cameron Miners.
There's Miners there. He adds to his average. He came with 32 yards to catch. That was for 38 yards. They're right down the middle, but he just blew past, got over the safety. One-handed catch and got into the end zone using that 6'4" frame.
One more look at it. Miners just stretching that arm out after the catch, and that's just one of those where the safety bit on the play fake because Centennial's been so successful on the ground tonight. And then Miller opens up the cannon and drops it in the breadbasket.
Yeah, nice job with the play fake.
PAT nearly blocked, but it'll leak through the uprights. 35-0. Centennial wastes no time to strike. One play, 38 yards, 35-0. Jags leading Sioux City North on CISN.
What if you could make a priceless difference in your community for as little as $5? With the Des Moines Catholic Worker House, you can. For nearly 50 years, the Des Moines Catholic Worker House has given the homeless and low-income community a place to feel welcomed. With your support, we could turn 3,000 free meals each month into 4,000. We could build a brand new warming and cooling center in our future facility. We could provide more hygiene products, more clothing, and more hope to those who need it most. Feed the hungry, clothe a neighbor, and spread your generosity throughout Des Moines by scanning the QR code on the screen right now. Donate online via PayPal or mail a check to make a priceless difference in your community today. Thank you so much for your support.
Austin McIntyre lining up for the kickoff, and this one all Centennial here at Ankeny Stadium, as that one will sail just inside of the 10, bobbled back there, but corralled by Hazen Edwards. Edwards gets a few after that, but unable to make it out to the 20. Sioux City North will start about the 17-yard line. Again, one play. Let's go back down to Austin. And Austin, we saw the one stay in there for one more big strike. Now we're in running clock mode.
Yeah, exactly. I have been intrigued by. We still got you?
Yep, we got you. Oh, I think we lost him there. No worries. A couple of technical difficulties, but We will get him back here in just a moment, see what we can get from him at our next break. Austin, you want to try one more time for us? Let's head back down to you and see what you got.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've been intrigued by Warfield, though. Like to see him get the ball a little bit more here in this drive here. Not so good on this very first play, but, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of substitutes as we get going forward. And I'm going to do a battery change, so I'll be down for a second, all right?
There you go. Loss of 5 from Warfield. I agree with him. I've liked what I've seen from the senior back. You know, I think that's been the bright spot tonight for Sioux City North is they've had some success with them. If not for penalties, I'd say 1 or 2 of those drives could have amounted to points for this North squad, Tim.
Yep. The good tackle there by Box out there in the backfield. But look at that all-senior defensive line. You know, you got Will Morris, middle linebacker, the senior. So they've been playing together for quite a while. They've been dominating here, especially on these last 2 plays.
Loss of 1 there on that play, and it seems like the Jags have battened down the hatches on the interior line. You just heard it there. Rowan Doak, who's been busy, had the first score of the game with the fumble return for a touchdown. And now it's 3rd and 18. Just a nightmare of a drive here for Sioux City North. They went negative 14 on their first drive, negative 1 on their second drive. They've been positive since. But this one, they've been heading the wrong way. As Mogensen will send out a few wide. He's going to tuck it and try and run off the right side. Instead, he's met and taken down one more time. This time,
Big Kane Brooks in the backfield. He did not take that quarterback fake. He went out there and corralled him down in the backfield. So 3 plays, and they lost about 12 yards. So
lost 12 yards, that's correct. And so that'll be another Sioux City North punt. And that clock is ticking now under 1:30 likely before they do get this punt away. But Jags will have 1 more possession before halftime. See how Coach Pizzetti wants to handle it.
See if he wants to bring pressure, if he's going to go for the return.
2 men back. Brought a little bit of pressure. That one's sailing high, and fair catch called on the far side. And that's where Centennial will start things off as Garrett Stevens hauled that one in. Jags will start at the 32. See which offense they trot out there. As looks like Brecken Miller is going to go back in, so maybe it's a change at halftime or just take a kneel here.
Probably there. He's got, may take 1 more shot, one big play here, probably keep it on the ground.
We are in running clock now at 35-0. Does not have to wait till the second half to do so. Miller in shotgun. Going to go for a quick out. Finds his man, and a little bit after the catch is Luke Mitchell. He's taken down. And I think Centennial just wanted to see if they could get a quick hitter to go there.
Might get 1 more play in here. I think they wanted to run something.
We're going to try, and maybe this is one of those spots you work on for next week, just working on some up-tempo stuff. See if you can make it work with 10 seconds now.
Quarterback get eyes on the clock there. He's got time to get a snap off.
J.J. Morgan to his right. They'll hand it off. Morgan, 1-step plants, bounces outside, stiff arm, slips, loses his footing. That'll take us into half. I think Morgan wanted to make his 3rd trip to the end zone there. Instead, it's just a 35-0 lead for the Jags. And, Tim, really quick thoughts on that first half.
Oh, yeah, there was a pretty dominant performance by Centennial there. They got the turnovers they needed. They scored right away on a pass there. The offense is doing what they did, the gash plays, so by passing and running. So they're pretty dominant by the offense.
Let's go down now to Austin Oliver, who's on the field with Coach Ryan Pizzetti.
Coach Pizzetti, pretty good first half for you. Got a lot of people, different people touching the ball. Give me a synopsis of what you thought in the first half.
Discipline was terrible. You know what? You don't like to see that out of your football team. A little high emotion on senior night, but got everybody touching the ball and moving forward, and looking forward to the second half.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much to Coach, and thanks to Austin Oliver as well. And we're going to head to break here on CISN. Once again, the Jaguars up 35-0 here at Ankeny Stadium through 2 quarters of play against Sioux City North. How's it going? I'm John.
Iowans are working hard.
But high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Employee pricing plus extra DeArmond discounts at DeArmond Ford. New 2024 F-150s with over $20,000 off. Get a new Ford Bronco with $9,000 off plus 3.9% for 72 months. New Bronco Sports on sale for $37,990 plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Super Duties with $10,000 off. Extra discounts on top of employee pricing. Only at DeArmond Ford, Indianola.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
Welcome back here to Ankeny Stadium. Once again, the Jaguars leading 35-0 against the Sioux City North Stars, and dance team taking the field right now, and then shortly after that will be the Centennial Marching Band. And let's go ahead and introduce our new guest for the halftime show, and Scott Hook, the Centennial Band Director. And Scott, first off, welcome to the booth. It's got to be a little strange sitting up here waiting for your squad to take the field.
It is. I'm super happy to be here, though, but yeah, I never get to see them from up here when they're in uniform, so I'm excited to see the show.
So walk us through a little bit. Obviously, Friday nights, fans get to see a little bit of what you guys build over the course of the band season. How much work goes into it, though, before the football season and school year even starts?
Oh, so much. That we start working on it early in the summer. We meet once a week throughout the summer. Starting just learning music and learning how to move and that. And then beginning of August, we have our band camp where that's really where the rubber hits the road, and we put in a lot of hours. By the time school year starts, we have a lot of the show learned, and then it's just about polishing and preparing. So
I remember from my band days, the two-a-days for band camp as well. And, you know, it was Iowa summers get a little warm, and I'd argue that band kids are as much of athletes as some of the people we see on the field in pads some nights.
Well, it is. It's an athletic activity. We tell them we do a lot of stuff to kind of build up that endurance, and we talk about you've got to stretch, you got to take care of yourself, because it's a very physical thing they do.
So walk us through this show as we're about to see the band march out onto the field right now. What was kind of the inspiration for this, and talk about some of the music with it?
Well, so the inspiration for this is the show's called Vincent, so it's about 3 of Vincent van Gogh's paintings. And so we kind of built it around his life. So when he first got started, the first movement is called Sunflowers. And so on the field, you'll see 3 giant paintings. They're about to put everything together. So we have his sunflower painting, which is the first part, and then Starry Night, which is the one everybody knows is the middle one. And then from the end of his career, Self-Portrait of an Artist.
Okay.
So we kind of built everything around that from the beginning of his career towards the middle, then towards the end, and then we kind of come back to the happy stuff at the end to celebrate, since he wasn't really known until after he passed away. So
okay, interesting. You know, this is one thing I remember, again, my days, props and on-field items were not really part of it. How much has band evolved over the last 20 years?
So much. There's so much to. I think once people started realizing things that you could do to create an even more experience, when we start talking about the show, we really talk about it like a production, like it's a theatrical production. So we put it together. We want to create just a whole panorama out there to kind of create the mood. So a lot of effort goes into creating the props and designing them, and then trying to make it so they don't blow over in the wind. And then how do you get it all on the field and back off the field? So it's come a long way.
The other thing you see outside of just the band and color guard are a lot of volunteers out there too. Talk about how incremental they are to making this happen for these students.
Oh, we have the best band parents in the world. They put so much time and energy into it, and I mean, anything we need done, usually they'll do it even before I ask, but all I have to do is ask, and they help push things out. They help take care of the kids. It's pretty amazing. It takes a village to make this happen. Again, here with Centennial Band Director Scott Hook, and Scott, I do have to say I appreciate the traditional uniforms still that you're repping over here at Centennial. Again, we talked about that evolution. I think the uniforms have evolved just as much for some schools as well. A lot of schools have gone to costumes. So like what you see on the color guard right there, where they'll have something specific for the show. It's awful expensive to do that, and we like our uniforms, so we kind of do that. But we try to create that color with a lot of the other stuff, especially our color guard. Now, is there rivalry within the band world as much as there is in the other sports, or is it kind of competitive appreciation? Yeah, I think it's a competitive appreciation. I think we talk a lot to the kids. Like every other band they see is working just as hard as they are. We all want to see everybody be successful. Now, people like to win. You get first place. It always makes you feel good. But they really are really supportive of the other bands because they know they've been sweating in August. They're carrying props. They're doing all the same things. So. I want to point out it is raining very hard right now, it would appear. Isn't it? And the show must go on, as they say, in these instances. So, I mean, is there anything you do to prepare the kids for these weather elements? Again, is it just part of it? It's part of it. We try to be careful. If you see, there's a lot of electronics. We got covers up going on there, but we try to figure out a way if it's not too heavy to be able to go. So. We talk about how to do this stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So introduce us to your drum majors who we see on the podiums here in front of us as we get ready to start the show. Yeah, so we have Ethan Quinn, we have Ileana Aponte, and then Cameron Johnson and Carter Bentley. All four are seniors. Ethan's a second-year drum major, but they do so much. They conduct the kids. They're running rehearsals. It's there's so much that goes on behind the scenes for that position. They're just amazing kids. So what music do you choose to kind of represent Vincent van Gogh and the artwork? Well, so this first one, when we picked it, we were trying to with the sunflowers, we wanted something very pastoral, very simple. And so this piece is based on a concert band piece, but it uses the Simple Gifts melody, which we all know from everywhere. And so it really kind of fit that sunny, bright yellow feel. The second movement is actually an old Don McLean song from the 70s called Vincent, and it's about Van Gogh, which I love the song. So, and then the last one is actually from another piece, and it was written specifically about that painting. Okay. And so it really kind of ties in kind of the more, a little more anxious end of his life. So. Getting some band members jumping up and getting involved, and certainly one of those where a lot of movement on the field, and the formations on this are not easy. The kids have to trust each other to hit their marks and hit their steps throughout. Yes. We'll let it play out a little bit. I want you all to hear just a hair of the music. So, Scott, obviously you're outdoors, and the mindset for some might be, well, you just play as loud as you can, right? But no, there's got to be that blend and that harmony amongst the band. Yeah, well, we talk a lot with we have a very large band, especially in Iowa, that, when we go to places, to competitions, everybody knows we're going to play loud and they expect that. So we really try to maximize how soft we can play so that everybody gets a full range. Nobody wants to get yelled at all the time. So we try to mix it up and get some softs in there too. How many band members do you have this season? We have 234 band members this year. Wow. So, yeah, it's quite a few. All right, now, will all of them transfer over
to concert band as well, or how does that work if you want to be in marching band?
Here in Ankeny, if marching band is part of band, so that's just one of the units we do, I guess you'd say. Some of the color guard members are not in band; they just do color guard. But we have a number of guard members who also play an instrument. So,
very nice. And again, you see those movements. And is there strategy in where you're putting instruments on the field throughout some of these as well?
Yeah, we try to identify moments where there's melody or things that we want to get up closer so they can be heard. Try to get things together. So right now you can see the brass are having the melody, so we try to get them towards the front. And then we're transitioning up because the flutes and stuff are going to take over. And so we try to get them maximized to where everybody can see and hear them.
You guys obviously don't just perform on Friday nights. 6 competitions this year. How did those go for Ankeny Centennial?
They went really, really well. We were grand champions at 4 of the events we went to. We performed at we performed at Urbandale and at Pella. It's called the Central Iowa Combine, and then at Valley Fest we got first place there too. So
awesome.
It was a good season.
I have vivid memories of Valley Fest and Valley Stadium back in the early days of that stadium being built.
Yep.
And we played through some rain, but the mindset from Treg Marcellus, our band director at the time, was you can't fake it because judges will walk through the formations and they will know if you're not playing. It's really interesting finding out the dynamic of how these performances are judged too.
Yeah, there's usually 2 to 3 people on the field, and they're walking around, and we tell the kids you need to go where you need to go, and they're trained to be out of the way. And it's funny, we heard a tape the other day from one of our very first ones. You heard one of I think it was a flute player that was like, "Excuse me," and the judge got out of the way because she didn't want to run into him. So we've got polite kids.
That's nice of you. I think Marcellus told us walk through them.
Yep.
You got to get where you're going, and they will not be mad at you. They'll be mad at themselves.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And again, talk about the Centennial community as well, the appreciation you see at halftime of every Friday night, and the support you've seen at those competitions as well.
Oh, it's awesome. We have so many people. I hear stories about other communities where the stands, they don't pay attention, but our student section does a great job of supporting our marching band. People quiet down so they can hear it. It's a really special thing we have here. There's a lot of support for what we do, and then our parents travel to the competitions. We always have a big cheering section, and it's a great part. So here we tried to create Starry Night across the field. So if you see the flags, some of them they're different to represent different parts of the painting. We have an incredible community and an incredible amount of support for what we do.
When you watch from this perspective, you talked to me before we got on that you're typically lower for when you're watching competitions, things like that. When you watch from this perspective, is it kind of does it kind of bring you a little bit of joy seeing it come together in this wide panoramic view you talked about?
Yeah, well, because I run rehearsals from this high, but I never get to see them with their show flags and their uniforms and all that. So it's amazing what a group of students like this can really accomplish, and to watch the culmination. This is our last performance, so you get to see everything come together, and it's just really amazing to see all these people do such good work.
Well, and then as you get transition into concert season and things like that, how much work goes into prepping these students, getting chairs alignment and getting, do you re-audition for chairs and things like that come concert?
We do. We just got done with our auditions. We had our first day of concert band today, so it's a weird where we are winding down marching band, but winding up concert band, and then jazz band starts next week.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's a busy time.
And you're not alone as the sole director of all this. Do you have an assistant director or anybody else, or are you solo?
We have a wonderful team. There's an assistant high school director, Brogan Carney, and the way we do it, all of our 6 through 12 directors help with marching band. So Janelle Hook and Marcus Price are our 8th and 9th grade directors, and they help out. And then our 6th and 7th grade directors, Dr. Jake Teben and Lindy Slocum, we all work together as a team throughout the whole thing. So they're all down there. And, there's no way I could do this by myself. they do so much to help everything out. So
when do you start planning the next season or the next year of marching band's music and show?
Oh, not today.
Thankfully,
no,
right?
We're always thinking. So
Yeah.
I've got a long list of things. This actually came from a list. Like, I thought about a couple of these songs probably 15 years ago, and then I just kind of go back. But I usually give it a few months before I start coming back up to ideas for stuff.
How many groans do you get when you're like, this is from the 70s, guys, you're going to love it?
They're actually, I was surprised at how many kids knew the song.
Oh, really?
From the middle tune. I never would have thought it, but they must have cool parents.
What do you say to your seniors on their final night of performances here for marching band as they kind of get ready for the second half of the school year?
The big thing is we really preach an attitude of gratitude. And so I just thank them. The amount of hours and energy and time they put into it, it's just amazing. And that they do it year in and year out. So we talk a lot about just saying thank you to the people around us for everything they do to make it happen. And that's really the special part of that.
Well, what a beautiful show you put on. Congratulations to you and the success this season, and certainly a fun year for you guys at Ankeny Centennial.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate being here, and just thank you for all the kind words.
Absolutely. Scott Hook, Centennial Band Director here. Once again, appreciated here on Central Iowa Sports Network. We'll be right back, getting you closer to kickoff of half number 2.
Joe here with Westside Auto Pros. I know that sometimes your car can be inconsiderate and need work when you're short on cash. So here's what I'll do. When you get your car fixed at Westside Auto Pros, I'll loan you the money to pay for it. Whatever you want done, repairs, services, tires, you name it. Get your car back on the road and you won't even pay any interest for 90 days. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
No interest, Joe? Are you nuts?
Get your car fixed now and pay later only at Westside Auto Pros. You don't suppose she's right?
Employee Pricing Plus at DeArmond Automotive Knoxville. 2025 Ram 1500s with up to $15,000 off. Incredible offers on the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee with up to $9,000 off. And new Jeep Wranglers with up to $8,500 off. And save on a new Chevy Silverado 1500 with over $12,000 off. Employee Pricing Plus. Save big now at DeArmond Automotive in Knoxville, Iowa.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Free Godfather's Pizza. Begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
Welcome back. Let's go down to Austin Oliver, who's with Coach Moore.
All right, Coach Moore, some ups and downs first half. Obviously not the score that you probably want it to be, but I think there's been some bright points for your team as well. We've been really intrigued by Warfield. Great runner, senior running back for you there.
Yeah, he had a great first half. The offensive lines did enough to get him going.
He's kind of like the Jerome Bettis. He's low to the ground, low center of gravity. He's been running really hard. We're going to keep giving him the football and see what he can do.
All right. Good luck, Coach, in the second half. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Austin Oliver. I love that comparison. The bus. I'd agree with that, certainly, Tim. And that was probably the lone bright spot in that half for Sioux City North. And if you're Coach Moore, the message is, guys, we just got to chip away one drive at a time.
Yeah, build on the success. Seniors want to play well, coming out this, their last half of football, for the season, and also see where the young guys go. But you find a lot about your team. You want to build on this. You're going to have your best half of football here at the end. They've made some plays in there. The running game, the defense made some stops. But they kind of make sure they don't make mistakes that shoot themselves in the foot.
Let's run through some out-of-town scores, Tim. Waukee up on Waterloo West 28-14. Again, a must-win situation for Waukee. I don't know if a loss for Waterloo West will bounce them out necessarily. I guess that's the cliffhanger that they're going to leave you with to make you tune in tonight at 11 to find out the RPI. Other scores, Northwest leading Norwalk 35-7. Norwalk might be far enough up in the rankings to not fall out, but again, we'll have to wait a little bit. Cedar Rapids Prairie leading Dubuque Senior 21-10. Dallas Center Grimes tied with Kennedy. That one is a big one in my opinion, as DCG's had their ups and downs this season, but they got to find a way to get a win against a tough Kennedy squad tonight.
Yeah, they come in, they're number 9 in the rankings, but, the opponent's records are 32-40, so a loss hurts you more based on your opposition. So that's where that comes in. Waukee comes in, they're leading. They're at 17. Someone has to drop for them to move up. So this is kind of like golf. It's the moving day. The lower half. Are you in or you're out? So you make the cut. So there's a lot of things going to happen between now and 10 o'clock tonight.
Indianola not helping anyone that's on the bubble right now. They're up 14-0 on Urbandale. Linn-Mar trailing Iowa City West as well, and that will likely, if Linn-Mar cannot come back from that 21-point deficit, end their season as they come in number 19 in the 5A RPI rankings. So, again, I think you're going to see some East teams that will end up lined up with some Central Iowa teams, and we'll get some good contests, especially in that second round of action.
Yeah, it's always interesting to.
Just found that out on the how far down.
Keep going. One more down. Yep. We found a credit card. For anyone at home that lost a credit card in the Ankeny Stadium, come back and retrieve it. And, hey, we can do a little bit of everything.
Well, I thought he wouldn't know. I'd take Visa. Yeah,
if he was paying for the scores, we got it for you. So it's been, again, I think Centennial has this one pretty much locked up as we get closer to kicking off the third quarter. Again, John Schaefer, Tim Halber, Austin Oliver on the sideline. Austin getting us thoughts from both coaches going in and out of the break. Also, once again, one more big thank you to Scott Hook. And Austin, the rain, has it let up at all from halftime?
It's just up and down. It spits a little bit. I went and put on a stocky cap. I put on an extra layer here just to stay a little bit dry. But I think you saw that last play, J.J. Morgan trying to make that last cut and slip down. So I think it's just going to be a little bit of a factor as they try to make some moves.
That turf matted down a bit over the years. Obviously, someday it'll be time to replace it down here at Ankeny Centennial, or at, I should say, Ankeny Stadium. Just loses grip over time with how much use this stadium gets for all the high school sports.
Yeah, what they say, the turf life is now 7, maybe 10 years at the max, if you can rake it up. But you got 2 different high schools playing on here. It gets a lot of use. It doesn't get much of a break. And then when you add a little bit of moisture to it, it does get a little slick out there, that plastic grass.
I'm still a natural turf guy, if you ask me. I know that there's studies out there both ways, but I think it's better on the kids' joints. And as we get Miller rolling out to the right, throws it out there, finds Good, and Good's going to pick up a few and then lower the shoulder, kind of scataboos it there on the sideline as well.
Yeah, he goes out there and picks up, gets enough just for the first down there. It's a good first opening play there for the Centennial offense to get. You come out, you're cold, it's raining a little bit, you got some guys in new positions, so I think they want to go out there and establish themselves, and keep things going, get that, the clock will be a continuous clock here, so
clock
you can keep it moving.
Run. Although I think they might have stopped it briefly there, not realizing or forgetting that we're not in a stop. No stopping the clock. As that run up the gut, stacked up. And, I'm also going to be a little bit honest with you here, Tim. I'm a little shocked that the first teamers came out on this drive.
Yeah, maybe coach wants to get them one series out there as starters. Kind of got to establish the tone for the second half, and then really see full replacement here in your next series of downs. But he wants to get that offense, guys. We're playing, when you keep that head of steam going into next week. That's what they're looking at doing is let's get out there and let's get after it and do what we do.
That's a great point there. You don't want any rust to accumulate. As Miller goes once again under center. Fakes the handoff. Nope, gives the handoff off to Good. Good's got a couple backs and blockers out there in front of him, and that's going to be a big gain, about 15 yards. Now for a first down, out to the 47 they go for the Jaguars.
Yeah, Good comes in. He had 192 yards coming into this game, after the first 8. He might be able to, double that here the way he's, making these big runs here in this, this game so far.
This is a Jaguars team that, yeah, they might be the 16 team in the RPI. They might get up to 15 or 14, but they're a team people aren't going to want to play, especially with the quick hitters that they have in J.J. Morgan and Good, Schmitz. You got the passing game going with Miners. It's just been they can do it all on offense.
Yeah, especially team they're talented. They're
Good going again, sheds a couple more tackles. He's going to keep fighting for extra yards, gets the big push. That's a big run on 1st and 10. He's going to pick up 14, 15 yards, maybe even 16 there. Another look at it.
Yeah, he's saying, JJ, if you think you can get 10 yards a carry, watch me carry this game. He's been, getting 10 plus 12, 14 yards here per carry.
Yeah, that's
going back to that point, they've gelled here later in the season. They are dangerous. They got skill position players that can run and pass.
Got an injury on the field. We'll go ahead and head to a break, and then when we come back, we'll try and see if Austin Oliver has any more from the sidelines there here on CISN.
Employee pricing plus extra DeArmond discounts at DeArmond Ford. New 2024 F-150s with over $20,000 off. Get a new Ford Bronco with $9,000 off plus 3.9% for 72 months. New Bronco Sports on sale for $37,990 plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Super Duties with $10,000 off. Extra discounts on top of employee pricing. Only at DeArmond Ford, Indianola.
Andrew Hagan stayed down on the play. Any updates for us there, Austin?
He jumped up and is ready to go. So I think I was going to comment as well on the offense being out there for that little bit. Just the fact that when Coach went to half, how he just said, what do you say, undisciplined or
yeah, that's right,
something along that. But maybe he just wanted that first drive to get that back under wraps there too. And they did pull a couple linemen. I see 57's got some ice on his ankle. He looks like his night's done, and I see another guy with no pads on right next to me here as well that had a slight shoulder injury. So there definitely are some subs out there right now.
Austin, you've had to bundle up as well, as you mentioned. I noticed you broke out the T-Wolves hat. We're in full NBA play time, too.
I did. So I got a big Lakers game tonight. We'll be able to catch a little bit of that with this running clock at the end. So, yeah, ready to go.
Thanks, Austin, and certainly glad to hear you're staying warm.
They took it down to the next window.
And so that's Tim Hauber giving some directions down for a credit card that was lost as we get a handoff to Morgan. Morgan putting a hand on his back, and then he's going, and gone once again. J.J. Morgan off into the night, 41 yards on the touchdown.
Yeah, he kicked it to the outside. He has three guys in pursuit. Then just kicked up the jets and ran past him to the end zone. Came in untouched. Good cut to the outside. Very patient running by J.J. Morgan.
Just his fourth rush of the night, I believe, and he's over 100 yards as well and 3 touchdowns. So 3 touchdowns on 4 carries, Tim. We talked about it. They're big plays galore, and I know they had a tough time with Dowling last week. That was a tough matchup for them, but at the same time, you mentioned it, they're gelling at the right time in the right situations.
Yeah, he came in with 14 rushing touchdowns. He added 3 tonight, so he is that bell cow, and he's the danger. He's that X factor in a game. They get in the playoffs that if he gets ahead of steam, that line starts blocking for him. He gets in that second level. He is really difficult. He breaks tackles. He's a very strong runner. He's 200 pounds, so he's deceivably strong, and then again he has that kick, that speed to run away from most defensive backs.
42-0, the Jaguars lead. We'll stay here There's a look at J.J. Morgan, the senior running back for this Centennial team, and stands 5'9", 200 pounds. He's just a solid running back. I remember catching a few highlights in the top 5 plays for CISN a couple of weeks ago, and just seemed like he was a big play machine, and he's lived up to it tonight again.
Yeah, we'll probably won't see him again tonight. I think the coach might say, okay, you're good. You've had a really good night. You've proven yourself here coming out. That's a good drive by the offense. Good blocking up there. And, getting a touchdown, and we'll get some reserves in there. And even we'll probably see him on the defense as well.
Well, and to Coach Pizzetti's point, discipline's such a big thing, and those are things a coach doesn't want to carry over as habits go into the playoffs and things like that. So I get that point. I really do, actually, in the sense of giving your first teamers some more time to make sure they're getting into good habits, again, especially when you're probably going to be playing a top 4 team next week.
Yep, and you get some seniors that don't normally play with some of the senior starters. We're seeing some of the reserves playing with their teammates, together on the offensive line, that they're trying to mix and match that there. So we'll see how the defense lines up. Looks like they're going to go out there with some of the backups there on the defensive side.
Yeah, we've got a handful of them in. Ramsey Ragland in there on the right end, and yeah, I think you'll see those substitutions. You also have Cameron Smith still in there. You've got Isaac Christine in there. And you still do have Brandon Bogseth in there as well, as that snap's bobbled, and Warfield has no choice but to just fall on it. And that's going to be another loss, as Sioux City North has just gone negative play after negative play here for about 5 or 6 in a row now.
Yeah, a little too quick there. I think, the snap came to the hip of Mogensen. He didn't have much of a chance to turn around and get the ball, hand it off to Warfield. I think as coach said, he wants to get the ball to him, get him to the outside. He's been one of their better runners tonight.
Sioux City North trailing here in the third quarter. They'll fake the handoff, go with the slant pass over the middle. It's complete. Nice hands as he was met across the middle. I didn't catch the number on it, but no less. That's a positive play for Sioux City North. That's number 10 for the Stars, Nolan White, who's been active tonight.
Yeah. That's not for the faint of heart to cut across the middle and take that, because you got linebacker safeties coming at you. So good catch there, concentration by White.
Picks up 8, 3rd and 4. Mogensen once again in that shotgun. Fakes the handoff, another quick slant. That's batted at the line. Couple paws on it, and that's going to set up a 4th and 4. And North knows that you got to keep fighting here. Maybe try and go for it.
Yeah, that's headed for Austin Nelson, the other senior, 6'4" senior tight end. Also see him on the defensive end side, playing another two-way player for the Sioux City North.
Mogensen takes a snap, going to go with the out route. That's complete on the far side of the field. It's going to be a first down and a new set of downs there for Sioux City North. Looked like Caden Bauer on the reception. Another look at it here. Nice timing route. Nice job getting to the sticks, knowing where you're at, and keeping this drive alive.
Yeah, you had those main receivers here to the left side for the left-handed quarterback, but he threw it to the opposite side. And he was, nice one-on-one there, and he put the ball on his hands, going for first down. So trying to get some rhythm here and get that offense moving. The passing game's been working well for him this drive.
The southpaw sends his tight end in motion. They'll try and hand it off. They'll fake it. This is a broken play. Mogensen has no choices. There's 5 defensive players in the backfield. I think the first one to him was Logan Crowner. Yeah, Kane Brooks.
The offensive line tried to reach block over to the left. And there were too many gaps there, and the defense shot it. Then they're in the backfield, so there wasn't much for Jack Mogensen to do. So try to escape, and then otherwise, hit the ground and try not to lose too many yards.
North will get realigned here as it's 2nd and 18 after that loss of 8 on first down. Mogensen hands off to White. White on the end around. Picks up a few, and then he's going to be dragged down after gaining 4. And that It's an interesting play call. It was almost like an end around, but not. It's
an inside handoff,
yeah.
so it.
Well, once again, the Jaguars swarming to the ball very nicely here. You like to see that out of this squad. Get to the playoffs and anything can happen. We've seen it before. Look at Southeast Polk last year. Came in and just got in and then decided to go run all the way to the Dome and win the whole thing once again. Southeast Polk up big tonight. Mogensen tucks it. Like a loaf of bread, he's got it out there. He's just looking for room to run. Yep. And he's going to dive down one more time. Out near the 35. It's back to the original line of scrimmage for this drive on 4th and 10. And we've got another injury down on the field. And that's one you don't like seeing for this team. It's going to be Isaac Christine.
Yep.
Or Houston Luce, I'm sorry. Yep. Houston Luce, the defensive lineman. And that's a senior. He's up, though. He's hobbled a bit. And he'll try and work his way to the sidelines. Austin, did he just get rolled up on a little bit over there, it looked like?
Yeah, I think so. That's exactly what happened. So, and he looks like he's nursing it a little bit here, but he popped up and tried to stay in the game a little bit there as well. So we'll see what happens here. I'll keep an eye on it.
Houston Luce has been a big part of that defensive front for this Centennial team. A guy you definitely want to keep in.
Yeah,
good health.
6 foot, 240 pounds. But I think it's precaution to get him off the field. What you don't want to see is one of these, blowout wins, and you get someone gets injured. So we see probably more of these seniors coming out.
So it'll be 4th and 10 for Mogensen and company. He'll drop back, have to pass under duress one more time. Getting to him first, none other than Ramsey Ragland or Cade Meering, senior defensive lineman. He was the first one there, and then finished off on the edge was Tysher Zeller.
Yeah, Meering did a good job. He just kind of beat the tackle to the outside, flushed the quarterback, and then kept pursuit up. He had no chance to get rid of the ball, so it's a great job by the defensive end, rushing there. So the first string defense mostly on that series.
That'll be a turnover on downs. Brecken Miller comes back out on the field. Some changes in the backfield with him. This might be one of those where you want to keep the sophomore just kind of wheeling and dealing a little bit. Make sure nothing too crazy happens as we get the handoff. Schmitz, he'll rumble and tumble his way forward. That's going to be a first down, pickup of 11 for the sophomore.
That's some really good drive blocking by that offensive line. Pagano's in there, getting into that second level downfield. Also seeing Kenyon Leake, the senior offensive lineman, in there as well.
Another fake handoff. They give it to Good this time. Good has a wall of blockers in front of him. He tumbles in across the goal line. Count another one for this Jaguars team. Thank you, Devin Good. 48-0 with a PAT on the way.
You did a nice job getting behind the right side of that offensive line and just following those blockers out there. Did a good job. Good block. By 41 came in there. That would be Owen White getting a good block out there and escorting the running back in the end zone.
This is a Jaguars team clicking on all cylinders. You can put this one, I'd say, to bed. Their playoff is locked in with a win tonight. PAT up and good, and that will send us to another break here. Jaguars up 49-0 here at Ankeny Stadium.
Run, jump, lift, swim, compete, connect, breathe. Whatever your workout, you'll find it at the Y, plus a whole lot more. Right now, you can try the Y for free. Visit any branch or online at dmymca.org. One membership, endless opportunities. Your YMCA.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
Crowd thinning out a bit here at Ankeny Stadium as the writing appears to be on the wall late in the third quarter, 49-0. Jags all over Sioux City North. Again, playoffs looking more than guaranteed at this point. It's just a matter of where will the Jaguars end up next week on Halloween night. As that kickoff return is stacked up about the 19. And, you know, I think the question on a Halloween night is begged for Centennial. Do you get Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde?
Yes, when you're a 4-4 team, that they stumbled like last week. They played Dowling. Dowling's number one team out there. But when you get the playoffs, the funny thing is we kind of talked about this. Really, there's been no dominant team this year in 5A. They've kind of knocked each other off. So if you come in hot with a head of steam, and you keep a game close, things starts happening. And then, like you mentioned last year, Southeast Polk, if you get in, a lot of things can happen.
And certainly this Jaguars team, we've talked about it, dynamic on offense. To your point, Tim, I was at that Dowling Valley game to kick off the season. Big run up the middle for Sioux City North. As that's a solid first down run and picks up another set of downs as we've got ball carriers staying down on the field. Grabbing at a left ankle possibly, and I think we're going to get a quick injury timeout. So let's go ahead and send it to break here on CISN once again with the injury on the field.
Run, jump, lisp, swim, compete, connect, breathe. Whatever your workout, you'll find it at the Y, plus a whole lot more. Right now, you can try the Y for free. Visit any branch or online at dmymca.org. One membership, endless opportunities. Your YMCA.
Hi. Finn Kuehl, the one that stayed down on the turf there. He was the ball carrier. Strong run for him. I think it's that left ankle based on what he was pointing at, and he's walking gingerly to the sideline, but nice run play for the Stars.
Yeah. Also seeing there on the sideline, Houston Luce out there got a big ice pack on his ankle. He hobbled out there to talk to the defensive line and back, so he's moving around good. So he's just going to have a little tweak on his ankle, so that's good to see. It's nothing more serious than that.
And Austin, are we seeing any change? I'm seeing some warming up on the sideline there with some snapping as well. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think 14 is going to be going in at quarterback. There's several guys throwing the ball here, but I think somebody's going in here. So
17 is Andrew Heinrichs.
It's 14 is who's going in.
Okay, 14's going in. Luke Mitchell, wide receiver.
It's not him then. Well, he's got two gloves on, too. I mean, he was tossing the ball around here.
Hey,
I think somebody's going in.
Maybe Coach Pizzetti's going to get a little crazy on us.
Maybe he is. So
as we hit the fourth quarter here in Ankeny Stadium, it's all Jaguars. Some score updates. Valley rolls past Lincoln 63-0. They're locked in. Dowling 42-0 over Marshalltown. The Maroons will be the 1 seed in the RPI. Southeast Polk 56-0 over Des Moines East. See what else I can pull up here quickly. Thank you to Randy Nielsen, our director, for getting those written down as we get the end around to Warfield. Warfield bouncing it outside, cuts it back up, rolls off one defender, and springs it out. Nearly another first down pickup. I think they're going to move the chains one more time as he gets out to the 42.
Yeah, nice. He bounced off a tackle, and picked up another 5 yards. He's playing hard. Yeah, I've been very impressed with him. The speed he hits a hole, and then he just kind of keeps his feet. His balance is really good out there, so he doesn't come down with the simple arm tack. You have to bring your A game if you're going to be tackling Mr. Warfield.
Let's call him the minibus.
Yeah.
I think he's
the short bus.
He's been great out there all night long, and certainly shown it as that ball is going to be tucked, in a nice little pickup here for Sioux City North from Devin Warden.
Looks like Connor Fox was. I don't know if he's in at quarterback now, the sophomore, but he turned the wrong way, so I think he's the quarterback now. The
Connor
replacement
Fox,
for Sioux City North, the sophomore, getting some game time.
Scores right now, other scores we're seeing, Waukee still up 35-14 in the fourth quarter. Iowa City West all over Linn-Mar, 42-14. That'll end the Lions season there. Indianola up 14-7 on Urbandale. That game's still tight. 7-7, DCG and Kennedy there in the third quarter was the last check, as Warfield bouncing it off the right side once again. Really likes to run it off right side, but he battles through that first tackle. And that'll be another first down for Sioux City North as they start the march.
Yeah, pick up another first down, for Sioux City North. That's a nice job there, getting behind that line, with Warfield. Give credit to the offensive line, getting a seal on the defensive end. I think they're just that game speed, and they get the lead blockers out there doing a nice job there, creating a bit of a lane for Warfield to pick up some positive yards.
Direct snap, Warfield. This time met at the hole. That's a punishing blow. Out there on the edge by Kyler Vanderweerd, junior linebacker. 175 against a 180 running back, and that was a solid force meeting a brick wall. Both, I'd say, won a little bit in that.
Yeah, we'll call that a stalemate.
Clock ticks under 10.
Looking like a full house backfield.
Snap, a little bit of misread, and instead it's just going to be tucked and running with it is Connor Fox once again.
Getting a few yards there, getting into a 3rd and 6. But generally they're going to go for it on even a fourth down. So for them, they want to get something. They want to get on the board. They want to get off this goose egg. So I think they can get some time of drive here. The running game has been going well. I don't know if we'll see Fox throw the ball here much, but they've been very successful with him carrying the ball or getting the ball to Warfield.
Fox out of the shotgun. Hands off to Warfield. Warfield again getting a pulling guard. Little jump cut. Dives forward. Another first down, and missed tackle in the backfield. Just nice shiftiness by Warfield to get around him and keep the head going.
Yeah, Pizzetti in there on the tackle, as well as the senior, Fitzner in there too. Normally a wide receiver playing some linebacker or corner tonight.
Sioux City North in plus territory. Sits at the 34 with a 1st and 10 here in the fourth quarter. End around. This time to Gabriel Lynham Ochoa. He'll pick up 5 yards. And again, nice push up front. I think, North just kind of keeping it on the ground is where they need to live right now. And they haven't shot themselves in the foot with any penalties here in this drive either.
I think it's still the original offensive line, but they're doing a good job, I think, just, as a unit, getting out there. And the thing is, getting out there, if they're pulling a guard, they're getting on their blocks, so they're not letting the defensive line come to the backfield.
Another end around and another Lynham Ochoa run. This time he's going to pick up more than 5. He'll pick up about 9. Call it 8. First down. They'll move the chains once again. Clock keeps ticking, but Sioux City North just a yard outside that Metro Heating and Cooling red zone. Big thank you to all of our viewers throughout this regular season. We'll have playoff football for you as well here on CISN. Tim, thanks for letting me into the broadcast booth with you this evening as well.
It's fun to have you. It's been a while since we've done a game together.
There's a big block on the front end, and Fox gets tackled anyway as there's a lot going on that play. Randy, can we get a replay of the block we saw on the front end of it? It didn't amount to much for Fox, but one more look at it. Bobbled snap, broken play, big block there. Kind of blocks him into his own guy. But that's a nice tackle to stick with it there in traffic by Shirel Dawson.
See if they come back. There's a little slow in the backfield. They're like a little misdirection with the new quarterback.
2nd and 15. First negative play, really. Fox snags that one. He'll keep it. Looks for a seam. He has one blocker in front of him, and he's able to creep ahead for 4 more yards. Six minutes to go. Playoff football has already started, Tim, for 2A, 1A, Class A, and 8-player football. They got their first round underway tonight as Warfield will take the direct snap.
It's a big night tonight for football.
I think we're going to get...
Warfield runs over would-be tackler.
See what the flag is here. I think we're going to get a holding call. Oh, face mask on the defense. So that'll take them well into the Metro Heating and Cooling red zone. Sioux City North, one more look at it. Just snags it there as he reached for it. That was a tough spot to be in if you're Tysher Zeller.
You're in no man's land. You got to take on the minibus.
Also mentioning World Series, game 1 underway, 2-2 in the bottom of the 6th between LA and Toronto.
Yeah, those Toronto fans, they love their baseball up there.
It's, you know, and they're being rewarded this year. What a run it's been. That was a heck of a Game 7 between the Mariners and Blue Jays as this is off the left end. Again, Lionel Machoa, he's going to sprint to the corner and in, and the goose egg is broken for the Stars.
Yeah, credit to the Sioux City. They stayed at it. They kept the running game going, you know, a little mixing of running back, different running backs, the quarterback, you know, sophomore quarterback taking the outside. Good blocking there. You know, 20 got out there, and, you know, and also Warfield springing the run, and they good say the first time in 3 games they've scored. So, you know, kudos to them for the seniors playing hard to the end.
11-yard scamper there. Puts the Stars on the board to make it 49-6, and PAT after. Up and through, 49-7. 5:05 to play. We'll head to break here on the Central Iowa Sports Network with Centennial up by 42.
What if you could make a priceless difference in your community for as little as $5? With the Des Moines Catholic Worker House, you can. For nearly 50 years, the Des Moines Catholic Worker House has given the homeless and low-income community a place to feel welcomed. With your support, we could turn 3,000 free meals each month into 4,000. We could build a brand new warming and cooling center in our future facility. We could provide more hygiene products, more clothing, and more hope to those who need it most. Feed the hungry, clothe a neighbor, and spread your generosity throughout Des Moines by scanning the QR code on the screen right now. Donate online via PayPal or mail a check to make a priceless difference in your community today. Thank you so much for your support.
13 plays, 80 yards, 8:34 eaten off the clock for Sioux City North. Leads to their first score in 3 games. I know they don't like hearing that, but at the same time, congratulations to them and breaking through there and, you know, again, continuing to fight to the end in this one. Lina Machoa found the pay dirt from 11 yards out as that's kicked off. Stepping back and receiving that are the Jaguars. Finding a seam, trying to bounce it outside. Picks up a few more, then a lick there. I didn't catch a number.
That's 28. Oh, that was Warfield on the.
One more look at it as our player is still down on the Jaguars player is still down on the sidelines.
He got
46.
Looks like a cramp that they're stretching his hamstring.
Drayton Tate. It's a big hit. Huddled around him. Yep, stretching him out a little bit. Tate took a lick from Warfield.
Heinrichs coming in at quarterback.
Andrew Heinrichs, 5'11", sophomore. $170. Pair of sophomore quarterbacks in that room as they'll run the end around. It's Jorge Rivera. Rivera has an edge. He's going to fight off a defender, pick up 15. Jorge Rivera the third. I'm sorry, Owen White. I saw 40, not 41. My fault. That's Owen White.
Yeah, Petty out there, the sophomore, got a good seal block out there. Kind of gave him some room to run.
My apologies. It's a long way across the field there,
Yeah.
Tim. Eyes aren't what they used to be.
No, it's one of the first things to go. You always wonder about a quarterback taking a snap for under center for new quarterback coming in, new center coming in to get a clean exchange, but they did in that last play, so it's good to see.
Heinrichs back under center. Pitches it out, a little bit of a flutter, but they're going to bounce it on the outside. Plenty of room to run down the sidelines. It's a foot race down to the 15. Wesley Owens.
Yeah, another sophomore coming in there, giving some quality playing time, showing some good balance, getting to the outside, following his blockers, getting that set up.
A little bit of a high flick.
Yeah.
He takes it in nicely, though. Splits the gap and then tries to sprint down back into the Metro Heating and Cooling red zone with 2:45 to play.
Owen White got a nice little kick-out block there from his running back position. That's what you'll see if you're not carrying the ball, that these running backs carry out the fakes or block for their fellow running back.
Heinrichs remains under center. They'll hand off once again right through the heart of that offensive line. Goes Andy King. We're getting all sorts of sophomore running backs in now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the backup linemen in there, but they take a lot of pride, then go to practice every day and they want to run the same plays. Getting really good drive blocking there, pushing the defensive line backwards.
That was Owen White once again. Or, I'm sorry. Andy King. King in the backfield. Heinrichs under center. Send a man in motion. They'll hand off to the motion man. He'll weave his way down inside the 5. Owen White, that time on the carry.
They did a nice job, like he was going to do the end around, then took the handoff and cut right in behind the right guard. Because of jumping into that hole, getting into the first, making a 1st and goal.
Can't tell me this squad isn't motivated to at least punch one in here before the final horn sounds.
Big thing is not to get a penalty. I shouldn't say that. When they're this close to in the red zone. But that offensive line's been doing a really good job drive blocking, creating some holes for these running backs on this drive.
Big score update. Dallas Center Grimes up 14-7 on Kennedy. Would all but lock up their spot. As
Heinrich's taking a knee. I think coach is saying, we don't need to
rub it
score
in on
there.
him, yep.
Class act. Bizzetti's made his statement.
Final score now from DCG 14-7. You're right, Tim. Let's not run it up anymore. Have some respect for our opponents. And again, Jaguars did what they had to. They'll be in the postseason now. They'll wait to see who they match up with in the first round, and they will be on the road. I'll tell you that much.
Yep.
I'd expect Ankeny to host first round next week. They had a big win out at Council Bluffs Abraham Lincoln tonight. 21-10 Prairie Tops Dubuque Senior. Norwalk falls to Northwest as well. But here at Ankeny Stadium, as the clock will tick down to the final 0 and the final horn, the Jaguars will move on to Halloween night next week with a 49-7 win over the Sioux City North Stars. That's where the Stars will end their campaign, 1-8 on the year. Jags moved to 5-4. Big night for J.J. Morgan on the ground. Nice night overall for that Jaguars starting offense as well.
Yeah, I have to look at players of the game. I think if Austin wants to grab somebody, I think of course J.J. Morgan did a great job. I thought Brecken Miller really did. Passing wise, he led that offense very well. So any of the seniors you're looking at, you want to call on defense. Really, it was defense by committee. They did a good job of just stopping him and not letting him go to gain any momentum here till the very end of the game.
So we get ready for postseason play. Austin Oliver waiting down on the field for us, and he's standing by with Brandon Bogseth tonight. Austin, take it away.
We're going to go linemen tonight, so we're going to grab an offensive lineman and defensive lineman. Brandon, 2 sacks tonight. Pretty dominant performance. Tell me a little bit about what you thought of the defensive play tonight.
I thought we played well as a unit, and we just came together collectively and decided we wanted to make a statement.
All right, momentum-wise, last game of the season, regular season, right? We don't know what the pairings are going to look like for our next game, but what's your thoughts going into the postseason here?
I think we're going to have everyone healthy, and we're going to perform really well and play really good together.
All right, thanks, sir. Yeah. All right, we're going to go right over to one of the offensive linemen here as well, Braylon Deacon Cahey. Braylon, I know first game back coming off of an injury, right? You saw you got the little bit of ice on the ankle there, but pretty dominant performance by the offense tonight. Just talk a little bit about your offensive line tonight.
First things first, all glory to God. I definitely wouldn't be here without him. Offensive line absolutely dominated. I love my other tackle, 75, his sophomore, Asher Magano. I mean, he took a guy to the sideline again this year. I love that from our. I mean, we just been consistent throughout. We were consistent at the Dowling game too. I mean, I've been honestly just impressed with us. I mean, we're almost better than last year.
All right, good. Now, the offseason, senior, it's going to be your last run at this. You know, what kind of a matchup is Centennial going to prove to – you're probably going to have to go on the road, I'm guessing, right? What kind of matchup are you guys going to be able to present to that team coming on the road then?
Matchup, play Centennial ball, run the ball. We got J.J. Morgan. We can throw the ball too. We got Cameron Miners, and we got a young quarterback who's ready to sling it all over. I mean, that's 100%.
All right.
Yeah, hey, first things first, can I just say thank you, CISN? Like, I mean, I'm so blessed. Y'all, when I moved down here and then I got to play on TV, I mean, y'all do great at the game. And down here, too, reporter, man, I just can't be more thankful.
All right, thanks a lot, sir. He's already got the media training a little bit there from Coach there, so he's going to be ready for football at the next level. I'm going to see if I can grab Coach here as well, but he probably took off on me here.
All good, Austin. Well, if you get him, throw a hand up, but a big shout-out to Braylon Deegan-Key there. Appreciate the shout-out. Certainly, without them on the field, we're not able to do this, and we thank all the teams, the ADs, the coaches, the players that are willing to give us time out of their night. Yeah. And, you know, these are big nights for them. They don't need to give us time, but they do, and they're more than happy to have us out. And I enjoy it. There's nothing like a Friday night in the fall, and certainly tonight, nothing like it for Centennial Jaguar football.
Yeah, they did a great job tonight. You know, they got a lot of guys on the field. They played well. They did what they had to do. They went out and played, got the intensity up on a Friday night. They came out the second half. They dominated. They got the clock running. They did what they're supposed to do. You know, it's our pleasure to watch these guys play. You know, these guys do a great job. The coaching staffs, like I said, they're friendly to us. They talk to us. They give us some insights. You know, they enjoy us. You know, kind of talking with them, and we appreciate, you know, that anybody listening, that, you know, they can have a good experience here with the game.
I think we'll give Austin another minute or two. I just want to run through some other scores really quick. Dallas Center Grimes does go final against Cedar Rapids Kennedy, 14-7. Urbandale falls to Indianola. The Indians, I believe, have locked up a postseason berth as well with a 14-7 win there. Iowa City West ends Linmar's Cinderella hopes to the playoffs, 42-14. Prairie over Dubuque Senior, 21-10. And Waukee Northwest tops Norwalk, 42-7, I believe, was the final there. If I remember seeing it, might be 35-7. Either way, Norwalk loses, so that's the one that you're going to have to watch, along with a massive win for Waukee tonight. They top Waterloo West. I believe that win should lift Waukee into the top 16. Yeah. What that means for Norwalk and what that means for Waterloo West is still yet to be seen, as, well, we've actually got it built out right now. Waterloo West is going to stay in at 16. Norwalk drops out to 17 at 5-4. And one team with an under 500 record does get in. Waukee up to 14. Centennial will be the 15 seed now. With them being regional, I think you'll likely see them play Waukee Northwest, who's the two seed in the RPI. Dowling holds on to the 1 spot. Johnston and Iowa City Liberty are the 3-4. Let's round out your top 10 now. Ankeny at 5, Valley at 6. Sioux City East will stay in at 7. Cedar Falls, number 8 there. Dallas Center Grimes with their win tonight will stick around at 9. Iowa City West a 10 spot. Prairie at 11. Southeast Polk 12. Indianola's win keeps them in as well at 13. And again, Waukee, Centennial, and Waterloo West are your 14, 15, 16. On the outside looking in, Norwalk just needed a little bit more. It came down to, it looks like, the thousandths of a decimal in the RPI for Norwalk. Pleasant Valley right there on the cusp as well. They finished 18. Again, these are unofficial We will hear from the association tonight. I believe 11 p.m. is their estimation, and then we'll know matchups tomorrow. Just because a 2 and a 16, you're not, or a 2 and a 15, you're not going to see that align necessarily. It depends on how they pod everybody, trying to keep teams from having to travel, all the way out east from all the way out west. But Sioux City East will host as a 7 seed more than likely, so will Cedar Falls. So that'll be into consideration as well.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. We'll know a lot more tomorrow morning, and coaches will be scouring the news tomorrow morning to see where they're going, where they're traveling, and we'll be in this stadium next weekend, most likely with Ankeny hosting one of the other seeded teams. So, hey, playoff football, let's bring it on.
Going to be a fun one. It will be Halloween night. Expect Ankeny back here inside of Ankeny Stadium. The Jags will hit the road after a big win tonight, 49-7, your final. Centennial gets the win. For Tim Halber, I'm John Schaefer. Austin Oliver on the sideline. Jeff Martin's our stats man. Director Randy Nielsen, and our camera operators can't do it without those three either, Reese Webb and Luke Sylvie. Thank you for tuning in to Central Iowa Sports Network all regular season long. We'll see you for some playoff football next Friday.